I don't know.
Okay, and I think we're live this time. I don't know what
think
happened
so.
there. We had a hiccup, and
Reset?
it said I don't know what it said. Told you guys, but it said that it ended the stream unexpectedly right before it started. So try it again. Yeah. So hopefully we are live. It looks like we got some people in the chat. Hopefully everybody can hear us. I am Game Master Roger. I'm joined today by Jason down below and Decado to my left, right, I guess. Yeah. To my my left, right. Yeah, my left, your right, I guess. Never mind. We'll
Well
save
done.
cardinal directions for another for another
Left and
video.
right are not cardinal directions.
No, they're not. No, right. North, south, east, west. Yeah.
God, we're
So
30 seconds into the stream.
that's fine. Yeah, well, I mean, that's okay. We'll make it. So yeah, Tenkar is in the chat listening. He's on the drive home, and he's going to jump in when he gets home. Hopefully that goes off without a hiccup. But so today, obviously from the title of the video, we're talking about what makes a game great, or what makes a campaign great, and I'm sure that we'll divulge into other adjacent and very not adjacent categories.
Non-adjacent.
I'm trying to keep it under control. I'm trying.
But yeah, and so obviously there's a lot of things. Let's say hi to some people here. There's Death Angel Shadow. Is there Fear Jello is in the chat. Paul Catrone, Noodle. Paul's here from Tenkar's channel. Well, welcome. Anybody that's here from Tenkar's channel. Yeah, how is everyone? Yeah, we're doing pretty good today. Ooh, some early barbecuing. What are you barbecuing? And are we invited? YouTube decided to use the ugly names. Yeah, does that mean it's using the yeah, all I see is the @ names, but yeah, I've seen it do that on occasion. I don't know why it does that. I don't know if that's a setting or something on my end or another end. I've seen it happen when I've been on live streams. You'll put in your name in the box and it'll use a name, and then other times it'll default to like your email name or whatever, or the original thing there. So I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah. Well, we'll look into that. We'll see what happens. So yeah, so welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. We just passed 60 subscribers when I looked earlier. We're at 61.
Congratulations.
So there's
Nice.
at least half of those have to be somewhat interested in what we have to say, right?
I,
And then
I figured it was just bots.
that was what I was thinking. 50% of them bots. If you make it to California on short notice, chicken legs with Japanese barbecue sauce sounds good.
I'm on my way.
Not going to
Nope.
California. That's so. Yeah, number 6. Yeah, I think you were somewhere around there, Death Angel. Yeah, big 6. Yeah, the big 60. So we're on our way to 100. I guess that's the
Here we
next
go.
the next big step, right? We'll
Hollywood's
maybe we'll hit
knocking on your door right now, Roger.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. 100 would be fantastic, I think. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I'm just glad that there's people out there that that want to listen to us banter about
Sure.
about everything that we got to talk about. So yeah. So what makes a game great, right? Is it the GM? I mean, surely that's got to be part of it, right?
No.
The GM, the players, the system, the story, the setting. I mean, they all play. I think they all play an important, an important part. But what's the most important, you think? I mean, I think it's the GM because I'm a GM, and maybe I'm biased.
Bias.
I'm going to wait until you call on me.
No, go ahead. What do you think there, Jason? What do you think?
To overrun everybody. I see myself doing that a lot. I'm trying to get it under control.
No, you're good, man.
I
You're
think
fine.
I think it's equal 50-50, the DM and the players. I've got a story for everything, and I'm trying not to go off into storyland. But when you and I first met, you were the second DM that I had after moving here to New York. And the first DM, they were playing 5th edition, but the guy was running Curse of Strahd. But I think it was a 3rd edition module or something like that. Whether it was the actual Curse of Strahd or not, I don't know. But it was not the 5th edition Curse of Strahd. So we were playing 5th edition
version.
Yeah, that's the one. So we were playing 5th edition Curse of Strahd. He was running it off a tablet, and it wasn't like a full-size tablet. It was this little pocket thing.
Oh
So
boy,
he was doing this while he was talking to us, and it was awful. And I've never played Curse of Strahd, and I've always wanted to. It's one of those legendary settings. It's like Temple of Elemental Evil. A lot of people have never played it, but everybody knows what it is. And it was a terrible experience. Absolutely horrible. So that was the first and last time that I played with that group. And then I think 2 weeks later, we found each other. However, I don't even remember how we did it, but went to your place for the first game. And when I came in the door, 2 of the people from that group were sitting at the table, and I was like, "Oh no, not these guys!" But the game was great. I don't even remember what we played, but I remember I had a great time. We hit it off immediately, even after the game left. You and I sat there and chatted for a while because I told you, because I told you I'm new to New York. I don't really know anybody, so we sat there for quite a while talking.
Sure.
And it's kind of like with George. I've played with him a lot, and I've never not had fun. I've played with you every week, never not had a good time. So that's a lot of it. The other half of that, the players. I am extremely difficult to get along with as a player. I know that. I didn't realize it when I was younger, but as I've aged, I've kind of become more aware of it, I guess. I can be very demanding. I take the game very seriously, even then, it's a game. It's for children. Maybe I shouldn't take it so seriously, but I do. It's a major part of my life. So it frustrates me when players are not taking it seriously, or maybe that's not even the right way, because you don't have to take it seriously. Like, if I'm playing with Chloe,
they're not fully immersed. They're not fully immersed.
Yes. I don't expect an 11-year-old to be taking it as seriously as I am. We're coming at it from very different angles. So that's fine.
Mhm.
I told you last week about the guy that used to come to the table and sit down and set his laptop up and watch the Green Bay game while
Yeah.
we were playing with the volume turned up.
That's crazy.
I want
Wow.
to flick him and send him to the moon. Yeah, just to me, if you're going to be coming to play at a table, regardless of where the table is, whether it's at a con, somebody's house, local game shop, I don't care. You show up on time. You show up with a set of dice, unless you're new and you don't have one, you're going to borrow somebody's, that's fine. But show up on time, sit down, shut up, and play the game. Once the timer starts, whether it's 4, like our game's at 4:00. Once that 4:00 hits, I am ready to play. Conversation stops. Let's get going, because we only have 4 hours. There's a lot to pack in those 4 hours, and I don't want it to be delayed by
Sure.
somebody ordering pizza or digging around in their bag or whatever. Like I said, I know how demanding I am, and I've
Yeah.
had to apologize to a lot of people for my behavior. So I get it. I just have really high expectations. So for me, when people in the group don't perform to my level, it frustrates me and it subtracts from the game. But if I've got a good DM like I do,
Yeah.
that offsets it quite a bit.
Yeah, so it sounds like the GM is like the key part that makes up most of that.
Even a great, yes, I know you're trying to pat yourself on the back. Don't break your own.
I am, yeah.
But seriously, you can have the best module on the planet,
Sure.
and a crappy DM will ruin that time.
Yeah.
You can have the worst module on the planet, but a good DM can make it a blast. I've got examples of both. So yes, the DM is extremely important to the equation.
What do you think, Ducato? What's on top for you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jason. I think it's a combination of the players and the game master, and and having that ability to work together, and you can take like a crappy system and still have fun if you have the right combination of people. Like I played the most recent example of that is my Friday night group. We played different games and stuff, and one of our members ran Candela Obscura for us.
Mhm.
System wise, I could care less. It's not that good of a system, but the game we played was awesome. And that was only because of her and us. The system didn't do anything to facilitate that. My thought process through that whole, it was supposed to be a one shot, and because we got so involved in it, it became a 4-shot. It took us 4 sessions to finish it, and it was because we got invested in like what she was presenting to us, and it was really good. Like that was really fun. I wouldn't go out of my way to play Candela Obscura again.
Sure.
We could have done the same adventure with Call of Cthulhu or Vaesen, which are much better. I played both, which are much better systems in my opinion. So yeah, I think it really falls back on. And I've played games where the game master was weak only because he didn't have experience, but the players who did have more experience took that ball and ran with it. Like whatever he gave us, we fed into it. And he said afterwards, because he was super nervous to run for us, because most of the guys that he played in their games were in this game, myself and at least 2 or 3 other game masters. And he was super nervous. And at the end of the game, though, he was like, "Oh my God," it was like, "You guys, I know he gave us the opening scenario and we just took it and ran." And he's like, "I didn't really have to do that much." And I was like, "No," I was like, "What are you gonna, we're all here to have fun, and we want to, it can be intimidating to play to run for experienced game masters, but if you have the right ones, those can be the best group because they know what it takes to facilitate a good game. So I think it's the players and the game master, a combination of those two, and the rest of it can add to it. But I think you need those two elements to have a great game.
Yeah, I think so too. And I want to touch on the other stuff, but there's some comments here I want to hit. This one's good. This one can take a whole episode, I think. But yeah, Death Angel, a new Adventures backpack from TLG, looking for errata. Good
is
luck.
that a reforged? I'm assuming it's because I've got the original print, so I'm assuming the new one's for reforged.
It's
Yeah,
got to
the
be.
Reforged.
It's got to be the reforged one. Yeah.
I'll take a look at it, but I don't know if I'm going to want to get it.
Low amount of puzzles is key. That's Joe. I think he's just saying that because of Sunday. I ran,
which I thoroughly enjoyed.
I ran Dragon Bane. We had a couple people cancel for our game on Sunday at the last minute. So I said, well, we only had 3 players. So it's like, well, I don't really want to go into, what we were going to do. And they didn't have a wizard. So it was, going to cause some issues. So I said, well, I'll just run the Dragon Bane. So I ran the free RPG day module, which was kind of fun. But there's a lot of puzzles in there.
I had a great time with it.
Which was fun.
Yeah, that
Hey,
was a good
Hungar,
adventure.
how you
I
doing?
played in that. Hey, Hunger.
What was that, Ducato? What'd you say?
Yeah, sorry.
I
go
played that free RPG adventure for Dragon. That was good. We actually didn't have any combat in it. It was all puzzles and role play for us.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I had a really good
Death
time with
Angel, for the plug here. Yeah, everybody hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends, all that fun stuff. Appreciate it. What else we got? I just want to go through this stuff quick. Yeah, Death Angel got stuck in Tonawanda for a month. That sounds horrible. It's the right game in the hands of the right GM. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, Reforged one. It's not released. I was raised by a poor orc child. Hey all. Hey, how you doing? I think that's all the comments were caught up there. I just wanted to hit some of those. They're starting to pile up. I mean, I'm in the same spot. I mean, obviously I think a little skewed that I think the GM is more important than the players, but that obviously that's just because I run all the time, I think. But no, but I understand your points. I do. Like if you have the wrong group that just doesn't jive well together, it's definitely could cause issues, especially if it's a campaign. If you're going to long play thing, you need players that are gonna stick together. And but what about the system? I mean, does like, I know, Ducato, you mentioned Candela Obscura, and then I think something like that works for doing a 1-shot or a 4-shot, like you said, or call it a short campaign or something, 4 or 5.
That was designed for it. I mean, to its credit, it was designed for that. It was never designed for long form campaigns. So
right. And I feel that way, I think, with a lot of systems that, like a lot of the Morkborg systems and things like that. Like, I don't know if they would work past like half a dozen sessions.
Right. Are they going to still hold up like 3 years later?
Yeah, right.
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't have that experience. So
yeah, I just don't think that there's enough there for like the players to like be excited about, to like, reach a point where, I mean, aside from the fact that, Morkborg, the world's going to end at any minute. And, I mean, aside from that, like just leveling up and whatnot, like you're not getting, not that you really need like a whole lot, but I think to have like a progression in front of you,
a little bit
whatever,
is nice.
You have something to say, oh, I'm gonna get, to this level and get this, or I get here, I get another attack, or
I think that's where like Cast Crusades hits a good happy medium.
Yeah,
I think so. It's not anywhere near like 5e where it's just nonsense from start to finish, but you get a little bit every couple level. You'll get a new ability. In my game, we use the optional advantages out of the Castle Keeper's Guide, so the guys look forward to those and when they come up, and
but
it's enough.
Yeah.
And I had players that went into that thinking that it was just going to be all the characters were going to be the same as far as like the classes. Every fighter is the same fighter and all this stuff. Like they found out it
Yeah.
wasn't that way. Depends
Yeah.
on how you play it.
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, and that's important too. I think and that's like that's part of the system, right? And I think that's important, especially in like a longer game. And it's interesting you mentioned CNC. So I think that if you go back and you find a game that's based on like basic D&D, those will work fine for like a half a dozen sessions or maybe a little more, something like that. And anything that's based on like first edition, I think you can get a little more mileage out of because there's more progression. There's more, every class has more things at every level or whatever to do rather than just getting hit points and an additional +1.
Yeah, that was we've spoken very briefly about that. We
Nothing we spoke about was briefly.
Well, with me, absolutely true. But you were talking about can a system make or break the game? We started out using basic fantasy.
Yeah,
and I've said before, it once we hit about 4th level or so, it just didn't really work for us anymore. But it was more than it just didn't work. And that really plays into what you just said. If you're using a system that is based off the Red Box or Mulvey or whichever basic system, it's really designed to only go up to like level 5. And once you start doing that, it kind of starts to fall apart a little bit. And with basic fantasy, that was absolutely true. And so, we had a kind of a bitch session. We sat there and we were like, these are my problems. And Joe summed it up perfectly. The monsters were getting stronger and we were getting weaker. Every time we fought a monster, if it was 5th level, it had 5d8 hit points. Whereas, we're sitting there rolling a D6 or a D4 for hit points and rolling 1s and 2s on our hit dice. And it was just abysmal. Then I mentioned about not me. I think it was last week. If I'm wearing medium armor, my speed's cut in half. Well, if you do that, you have completely removed my ability to run. And running is a very important part of playing in a game because sometimes you're going to get, you've stepped into something you don't want to be. Whereas, like you said, in the more advanced systems, AD&D and all of its progeny, the options are so much more in depth. There's just so much more you can do that it allows your characters to level, which means that the campaign can carry on for further, for longer times. So,
sure. Yeah. Thanks for your support, Agile Monk.
Thanks, Agile. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. And, there's certainly exceptions as like I was thinking about, like Axe. I know we Adventure Conquer King system. Like we talked about that briefly. Jason and I did, and that's based on basic actually, but he's done like a lot of work to make that into, a more substantial system and whatnot. So, but yeah. I think, I think like Bastard Crusades is going.
Yeah, like even like Shadow Dark, every odd level. They only go to 10th level anyway, but every odd level you get to roll on the random talent thing for your class, which is it's something. But we're playing. I'm unsure. One of the games we're playing, OSE doesn't seem to have. I mean, I'm not hating on OSE so far. I like it, but we're only a couple sessions in. Well, I say that my Ravenloft game I'm in is using OSE, and my son's running OSE, and I like it. It's very simple. The books are the gold standard of formatting. They're easy to use. But we're already changing things like in my son's game. Like we're doing, experimenting with roll to cast and changing the spell list because like Dragon Slayer has way more spells to offer than OSE does. Like even some of the ones you would think would be a given for, like I'm playing a druid that would be for a druid. They're not in OSE, like Magic Stone or Flame Blade or Shillelagh are not in OSE.
Shillelagh's not in it?
No, which is
like
weird.
A staple druid spell,
Yeah, I could have used it in the last session too. So I mean, I guess, again, it's the strength of a lot of the older games is you can put stuff into it and it doesn't really mess things up. But it
Yeah.
is nice to have like a little. I don't need a lot. I spent a lot of time game mastering and playing 5e, and I would never want to go back to that system just because it's too much.
Yeah.
But having a little bit of something to look forward to is good.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think
No,
that's
I,
good
I
for
agree.
everybody.
There's definitely a point where you can have too much,
Yeah, it's
of
too much to
something.
track.
I haven't played Shadow Dark enough to know. We've just played in some one shots and things like that. But as far as like the leveling up, like I don't know what that progression looks like. I know it. I know
Um,
the XP resets, and it's 10
yeah,
times the level you're trying to get to, right? That you
yeah.
need. How quick does that go? Is like after you hit like level 5 or 6, or
It really depends, like on your. Like I felt that we leveled fairly quickly, but
Mhm.
we also would hit the carousing really hard, and the more
Yeah,
you spend on that, the more chance you have to earn XP. So I felt we leveled pretty quickly. I liked it. I played a caster. I played a wizard in it, and I liked how the spell casting worked. I liked getting, like I said, every odd level you get to roll on the talent um, chart and get something either new or even double up on stuff, which you could do in that game. So
yeah.
uh,
Joe, yeah, he actually shot and killed that. You never
I
know
killed
what
it,
you're gonna run
bagged it,
into in
and
Maine.
mounted it myself.
So
Um,
thanks for watching, Joe. Appreciate it.
yeah, thanks, Joe. Um, yeah, so I think it's a good system actually because it does give you a little bit here and there. And I was just looking at that PDF. Actually, I have the PDF, the Tales of Argosa. I just don't need another
Yeah,
game. It looks
I
great
don't know
though.
too much about it. I've heard of it. I don't know too much about it.
It's like a sword and sorcery
So
style game. It looks kind of cool actually. The art's killer, and yeah, I got a PDF of it. Looks pretty good.
nice shot. You got to get
Thanks.
lucky when you're trying to bag,
Yeah,
an elder god.
I got him right before he hit me with his mind blast and took him down.
Um, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, system. Obviously, system matters. I mean, everything matters, right? A little bit. I mean, but
Right, it's like a recipe to a cake, right? If you chunk
yeah,
a piece of it, you might get by with it being okay, but like if you do everything, all the ingredients perfectly, like it's going to be
sure.
so much better.
I think that the longer the campaign's going to be, the more the system matters. If you're just doing
Yeah.
half a dozen sessions, the system really doesn't matter, right? Because you just
No.
make it work and you just do it. If
First
you're gonna
level is
play
first level.
right, right, yeah, it's the same across the board for the most part, right?
Mhm.
You're squishy, you can't do much. You punch
Yeah.
things, you swing your sword, that's it. But yeah, as you progress, that's where the differences really become apparent, and that's where you really want to make sure that you get a system that's going to fit the campaign. I think, which is the issue that we ran into, and I think now we're doing CNC, and I think that's a good fit for now anyway.
When I was living in Alaska, I was with a group, and I really liked the group. I got along really well with most of the group, but it was fifth edition, and I was playing an Elven Cavalier. I'm a big fan of the Cavalier Knight Paladin, that sort of thing. The knight in shining armor. I really like that sort of thing. And the whole time we were playing, I kept thinking, God, if only this weren't fifth edition. I was having a good time because I was playing a character that I was interested in, and I
Yeah,
enjoyed the group I was with and the campaign. And it wasn't, it was based in the Forgotten Realms, but there was, we weren't meeting Elminster, and we never went to, Neverwinter or Waterdeep or anything that stuff, but it was just general Forgotten Realm stuff. And so I really liked the campaign, but man, the whole time I just kept thinking, the Cavalier, like the Cavalier in fifth edition, as a Cavalier, your thematic bonus is I can knock on somebody's door and demand, quarters for the night. Well, who the hell's going to do that? So, and what
Yeah.
about my friends here? They get to sleep in the barn and I can share your bed. It was just the stupidest thing. And so yeah, it dampened my enjoyment of the campaign. And just like you said, the more we played, the less I liked it. And when I finally moved away from Alaska, I missed Alaska, but I sure did not miss that system. I lived just outside of Fairbanks. I was stationed at Wainwright. When I retired, I lived about 20 miles. I bought a cabin about 20 miles outside of town. I miss that place every day. Anyway.
Oh, but I'm not there though. You're
Yeah, that's what Skype is for. Sorry, man. I love you, brother. You're great, and I would miss your company. But if I could go back to Alaska, I would leave right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. I hear you.
Yeah. As long as I didn't have to play 5th edition.
Similar experience though. Like I ran a couple 5th edition campaigns, and what we did in those campaigns, like what the campaign was, like the story and all that was awesome. Like it was great, but like I was just so frustrated with that system. And then I had the same thing. I was in 2 different 5th edition campaigns, and they were great. I had great game masters, great group of players. We had a ton of fun, but like I was so frustrated playing that because I was just so done with that system that it just, like the turns took forever and just some of the nonsense things in my mind. Like, if you're into that, it's great. But
yeah,
I just was like, these games would be so much better. Like I played a wizard in one of them, and being a wizard was my least favorite thing about my character. My favorite thing was it was a Forgotten Realms campaign, was because we went to like Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter, and I got to see all these places that, like, as a kid, I got to experience like through the Baldur's Gate computer game and all those games. So that was fun to me. Rolling and casting spells, because I hated the way magic worked in 5th edition, that was the least I liked. Much better. We ended up becoming big deals, our characters, and interacting with the Lords of Waterdeep. That was fun to me because I was like, oh, this is really cool, because we're actually dealing with the Black Staff and all these people, and that was fun. Throwing down fireballs, which should have been a blast, but because, in my opinion, the 5e magic system sucks, wasn't that fun. Like that wasn't fun for me. Like it was all the other stuff. I tried to get fun out of that.
That was, that was my experience with that particular 5e campaign. Yeah, like I said, I was playing an Elven Cavalier, and as an elf, you get that magical trait where you can pick a cantrip and you can cast that cantrip as an action. Well, I picked Flame Bolt or Firebolt or whatever it was.
Firebolt.
But yeah, I think it did 1d10 damage or something like that. And as I got higher level, it became more powerful.
Yeah,
I'm a Cavalier. I'm supposed to be going in and using my sword.
Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, but because
I flipped a nutty on my table because I was like, what? Because I had a guy that in my group that played an Eldritch Knight, and he's like 15th, 16th level, and he's like I'm like, why did your cantrip go up? And he's like, oh, because I'm like, you're not a wizard.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like, oh, that's just how it works. I'm like,
but even if you are a wizard, it's a cantrip. It is a zero.
Right, yeah.
It's meant to to clean the dust off your desk. It's not meant to be your main battle spell. It replaced magic missile, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we thought.
I just hated it, man.
I mean, I was 15th or 16th level by the end of that campaign, and Firebolt, or whatever it's called, was probably my number one spell, because like we'd fight dragons because we were doing the Age of Dragon thing, and there's no saving throw. So I was like, well, I can throw this at a dragon and do 3d10 damage, and as long as I hit them, I'm good, because all my other spells, they're going to either use legendary resistance or make their saving throw, and it's going to be practically useless. And I just had this conversation with a friend of mine that plays in my game. He plays a wizard, and we were talking about it, and I said, well, 5e cantrips aren't cantrips. Like, no cantrip should do 4d10 damage. That's not a cantrip.
That's crazy.
It's like a fucking 5th level spell, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, and for me, I was talking about that to somebody that was very pro 5e once, and he was like, well, then just don't cast the spell. Charge up with your sword. I'm like, no, dude, that's not the point. I'm a frontline fighter. My job is to do the most damage that I possibly can. This 1d8 sword or this 3d10 firebolt, what should I use against the enemy? The answer is obvious. 3 to 30
Right.
or 1d8. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it
Yeah.
just, oh man, I
Very
will go
poorly
off all
designed,
day
in
on
my
5e.
opinion.
Yeah, don't like it at
Yeah.
all.
No.
Yeah,
There's got to be
yeah,
something about 5e that I like, but I can't remember what it would be.
I think
Yeah,
that the issue, that my biggest issue with it, especially like long term, the higher level you get, the turns just take longer.
Oh,
I
we were
and I mean,
averaging 45 minutes for a turn.
yeah, for
Yeah,
a
it was a
round, to go
quick
around the
turn.
table. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
6-7
like
players.
it takes us in CNC sometime, like at its worst, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe, to go around, like at worst. Usually it's boom, do a thing, boom, do it, boom,
Yeah.
boom, and it's done. At its worst, it's like 5 minutes. And I mean, that frustrates me. And and I know it frustrates Jason as well.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes, you got to look up the spell, you got to figure out what it does, you got to, figure all the things out. You got to roll saving throws for all the, for a bunch of bad guys if it's a fireball or something like that, and it just takes a bit. But yeah, but in 5e, it's like, 5 minutes is like your minimum round time. Yeah. And like you said, 45 minutes or something.
Yeah,
And
especially if you've got several fighters in the group, because the fighters can trigger all these abilities and just allow them to go again and again and again.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, not a
Yeah.
He'll do stuff like we would have, the 2 online 5e games I played in. We were fighting, tons of adversaries and stuff like that, and the game master would go through and calculate all that stuff, and then somebody would pop up like, "Well, I use my reaction to do this," and then he has to do all those calculations again, and I was
Yep.
like, I just wanted to smash my head
Yeah.
into my keyboard and be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lucky that like out of all the groups that I'm involved in here at home, none of them want to play 5e. Like none of them.
Yeah.
My Friday night
Yeah.
group doesn't.
That's great.
My Thursday night group doesn't. I will never run it again. So for my regular, twice a month group, we'll never play that system again.
That's great.
I don't think you'll find any arguments here, Agile Monk.
Yeah, it does play really fast. Like it is very fast.
Yeah.
One of its many strengths as a system.
Yeah. I was in a 5e game. I was playing a dwarf and dwarf fighter. I had a hammer. That was my thing. Everything was a nail, I couldn't we were playing through some things that I had played through before, so I had to play the dumb hammer character, and we tried to sneak up on some I don't know, Egyptian mummy lord something, I don't know, some and I of course failed the sneak roll because I'm wearing full plate and a hammer, and I mean I failed the roll, and so she cast disintegrate on me, and I was thrilled because
It's a con save, isn't it?
I was like, that's a con save. I can make those all day. And the GM is like, nope, they changed it.
It's a deck save now.
It's a deck save. If you can't dodge out of the way, you is a pile of dust. And so I'm a dwarf with short legs
in plate mail
and heavy armor. Yeah. So at the end of that game, the monk was carrying me around in a jar. He was like I scoop up what's left. It's like, well, we'll get him back.
That's
someday.
awesome.
So that was the last time I played 5e.
It's a good way to go out, though.
No, it was cool. Yeah. So my dwarf is getting carried around in a jar, probably sitting up on some shelf in some monastery somewhere or something. I don't know, but no, it's just was interesting.
I talk a lot of crap about 5e. With reason. No one will ever change my mind on that. But I can say this about 5e. It brought a whole lot of new players into the game. It had the very good fortune of being released about the same time that Stranger Things was coming out. Big Bang Theory came out. And, and so that interested people in playing Dungeons and Dragons, and 5e was coming out. It was
Yeah.
very flashy.
Yeah.
It was well produced. That's another thing. I just hate giving Wizards compliments. Oh, it just turns my skin. I think about the first edition Unearthed Arcana, which no one has anymore because the second you open the book, the pages fell out.
I got mine.
Yeah. Do you really have your original copy?
My original. Yeah.
Props to you, man. I was a kid. I don't know how old I was when I first got it, but I remember, wanting to get that Jeff Easley cover. Amazing. I was so excited to get the Unearthed Arcana, and I'm sitting there flipping through it. The Cavaliers and the Unearthed Arcana, the Barbarian, the Thief Acrobat. I was like, these classes are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm flipping a page, and the page came out in my hand, and I was like, what have I done? Yeah, I was a kid. I couldn't afford to go buy another one. I could not do that. So that was terrible. But man, Wizards production value, their books are very well put together. I never had one fell apart.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, part of that too is
that's
that
awesome, man.
I know that there is
It's not in great shape, but it's not falling apart.
It's still there. Yeah.
But modern printing has definitely come
Sure.
like a long way. I mean,
So-
that even I think the print on demand stuff now is still better than what they had for
Absolutely, it is.
first edition, and that's
really,
junk.
and that's a shame because like if you can still find first edition books, and the player's handbook. I've never had a player's handbook fall apart. It was that end of that first edition run where like the glue was terrible, the adhesive was terrible, the binding was terrible, the whole thing was just awful.
Yeah, I had the only book
I've-
I had fall apart from AD&D was Oriental Adventures, which was
Wow.
okay because I hated that. I never used it.
What?
And my player's handbook for 5e fell apart. My guys used to laugh at me because I literally would need two hands to hold it together when I used it because it just
Wow.
went
Wow.
to crap
That
on me.
none of my 5e stuff.
That's the only one that did though.
Apparently,
My
other
ones
people
were
had.
fine.
No, I never did. Okay, you have to tell me, what did you dislike about Oriental Adventures? Because man, that's
For
one of
me,
my
it's-
favorite books.
Yeah, it just never fit the aesthetic I had in mind. Like content wise, I couldn't tell you whether it was good or bad. I got it. I think I was the only guy in my group that did get it. And the only thing I ever saw happen was guys would just always want to use the freaking katana because it did a crap ton of damage, and that was
Yeah.
about. And I didn't like. It's just these like for me, like when I think like D&D, it's typically like Europe.
Yes,
it's
yeah,
really
Western Europe heroic fantasy.
Western
Sure,
Europe,
yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Got
it
it.
didn't really fit what I
Yeah.
my framework of it. Like so, I didn't.
Wow.
We never used it.
Man, everybody that
Still
I know,
have it.
I grew up watching movies like American Ninja 1,
Oh,
2,
same.
3.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
So
Yeah.
all of my buddies and I, all of my grade school and high school friends, we wanted to play Ninja. That was all
Yeah,
that mattered.
but
We're all creeping.
I don't
around.
know. I don't
Loved
think
it.
like for me, like it doesn't fit the the thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't fit the whole the setting and everything of like
Sure,
D&D.
and that's
you know.
that's yeah, totally, and that's exactly what Ducato's saying. I get that. I totally do. But I really liked exploring the Orient in Dungeons and Dragons. I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So
Just welcome Tenkar.
Gentlemen,
Hello, sir.
How do
I
you?
have I it's bad when you backing up Kickstarters that you have no idea what you're unpacking. But
You got an
Oh my
unknown box.
God.
I do that all the time. I'll have a box show up and my wife will send me a picture of it and it'll be some huge box and that's heavy and I have no idea what it is. It's like Christmas. And then I open it up and I'm like, oh, it's this dumb thing that I backed 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
There you
just
go.
got yours, didn't you, Roger?
Yes, I just got
Yeah.
mine the other day.
Yeah.
Oh wow, wait, they can still like show this?
Oh,
Wow.
whoa.
Scary.
We
We're
just
banned.
Oh my
we just
God.
lost,
It's in
we
the
just
stream.
lost half our viewers.
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh
you're
my God.
demonetized.
Wait. I don't I don't. The good news about that, Tankar, is I don't have enough subscribers to monetize, so I can't lose monetization.
We're good.
We're all good. We're all good.
So, Unearthed Arcana was made cheaply on Bloom's orders. Yeah, I
That's
I
right.
guess
Yes,
that
it
makes
was
sense.
it was
Yeah.
Bloom that destroyed that stuff. That is
Yeah.
100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. Throwing stars, caltrops. I don't know. They don't fit the D&D.
I used to have a
aesthetic
sheet
for
of
me.
plywood in my backyard, leaned up against a telephone pole, and I would throw my shuriken at them all
Yeah.
day long. I got pretty good, man. I love that thing.
Oh,
Yep.
throwing knives. I used to have a set of throwing knives.
Yep.
Half the time they would stick, half the time they would bounce off and probably cause problems. But yes.
So we were talking about Oriental Adventures and putting that into the game, and Jason's a huge fan.
I missed that when I was parking my car here in Queens and walking back to the house. I was like, son of a. See, like Oriental, are we talking like the AD&D 1E
Yes.
Oriental?
Yes, that's what
Yes.
we're talking about.
I have a love-hate with that because it was kind of cool. And it was like, oh, you got these new classes that you really didn't work with your regular AD&D stuff. But
Right.
you tried to shove them in. But it also introduced non-weapon proficiencies. I know. It introduced non-weapon proficiencies, which to me, at the time, was like, awesome. And then older me is like, oh, this shit.
Yeah.
It was not needed. And then it became, well, you don't have riding proficiency. You can't ride a horse.
You don't have fire starting. What?
You can't start a
I
Yeah.
live in medieval times. Everyone should be able to start a fire because if you don't, you're gonna die.
Rub two sticks together. Yeah, yes, I quote agile. It's what I do. Come on, you know this by now. You're a frequent flyer. By the way, I added my channel. So if you're watching on my channel, make sure you subscribe to Roger's channel.
Yeah, and if you're watching my channel and you're not already subscribed to Tankar, please go subscribe to us.
You're like in Siberia or something. I don't know
That's
what's going on.
That's a short list. Probably.
We can't help you. You're lost. You're lost.
Tinker, was it Oriental Adventures that introduced non-weapon proficiencies? I thought
it was Oriental Adventures that introduced it, and then
Dungeoneer's Guide and Wilderness Survival Guide. Those,
yeah, the Wilderness and Survival Guide.
Yeah.
They brought it to regular AD&D.
yeah,
But
those are two of my favorite. Also, in fact,
they were
God,
great
man,
as source.
first
Like,
edition. Man, that's some
everything,
great books.
everything but the non-weapon proficiencies. Because my problem with I don't have a problem with skills in RPGs. I have a problem with skills in systems at level.
Okay.
Yeah.
One or the other.
And it's great for RuneQuest. I ran a RuneQuest 2 campaign with my first sandbox, Pavis, Big Rubble. It works great. You got a small group. Skills work great. Skill-based, whether it's Call of Cthulhu, RuneQuest, Open D6, they all work fine because you can cover all those little niches and not have to worry about classes. But if in a class-based system, non-weapon proficiency just means it's more shit you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Every time they add a new skill, that means you can't do it unless you have the skill. It's they're adding to the list of things you can't do instead of adding to the things you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not like Traveler where people can go, oh, I got Jack of all trades at 0. It means I can actually clean my butt up without help.
Because do anything. Yeah.
We don't. If or it isn't like you either have it or you don't. Once you introduce skills, people don't go, well, isn't there like a basic knowledge? Like, I don't have a skill in riding a bike, but I can probably learn it, and I have to put a skill point in it, right? I'm like, no, you don't. You could ride a horse, maybe not a war horse, right? You're not riding it into battle. But can you ride on a pack animal? Oh, I don't have the skill. I said, no, come on.
Yeah, I've always been the more permissive type of like anybody can really do anything like that. It's under duress where I'm going to make you make the skill check. Like you can ride a horse. Anybody can ride a horse. Maybe that's not true, right? But like in a game,
you can figure it out. It's like you can You
But
can get
if you're
the
being
basic-
attacked or your horse gets attacked, then
Right.
you need to know how to ride the horse.
right, but then here's the other question. Then, all right, so you've been trained at riding horses in combat. Do you have to make your skill check every time you're in combat, or is it only in certain?
Yeah.
Again,
Right.
usually when it comes to like systems like a D20 system, skills aren't well explained enough as to when you use it and when you don't use
Right.
it, and it becomes this whole either you buy all into it and you're constantly rolling your skill checks, or you just hand wave it and
Yeah.
you don't bother at all. And I would rather just hand wave it and not bother
Right.
at all.
Yeah, no, we don't need skills. We don't need
Mhm.
skills. When we need a skill check, we can just do an ability check and call it a day.
That
You
was,
know, yeah.
George's
that worked.
example last week, where he was talking about the ranger that was running down here and shooting, and then the gnome illusionist was trying to do the same thing and fell over. That's a great example of picture that scene happening in a 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me your run skill, roll me your acrobatics check. Roll me, or you're running down the hill. Go ahead, you're good to go. It's what you do. So
Yeah.
I agree. I like having skills because I feel like some of them can help flesh out the character, but
Right.
so often they just get in the way. Like Roger said, here's another list of things I cannot do versus a list of things that I can do.
Yeah, that's. I mean, like AD&D, we had what you had that wonderful list in the DM's guide that was like thrown as an afterthought. What did you kind of do before you became an adventurer? Oh, I was a
Yeah.
Fletcher. No, you weren't.
Right.
Yeah, everybody wanted it, right? No,
I can make
my
arrows.
warrior was a Fletcher. I'll make my own arrows. No, I was an armorer. No.
Totally agree. That's
Probably a farmer.
the
Yeah.
DCC list. It's
DCC.
got 100 just oddball actual medieval jobs. The
Which makes
gong
more sense.
farmer.
We
The
all
rat
love
catcher,
gong
things like
farmer,
that.
come on.
Yeah, and it's nothing that's going to be like I can make my own arrows. It's like no, you get a +1 versus rats. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
It's
You have a rake so you can rake out the poop.
right.
Yeah. But that ought to give you some kind of poison damage if you crit or something
Well,
like that.
no,
right?
if you're the gong farmer, you probably have like a bonus like against like disease.
Immune to stench.
Right.
You're exposed to it all the time. Come on.
Yeah.
Right to like you lost your sense of smell. That's probably another one.
Yeah. If you have skills, just make skill rolls if there's some kind of stressor involved. Combat time. Yeah, right. Otherwise, just assume the PC was successful without rolling. Yeah, absolutely. Issue Boyer, Fletcher, and ABB. Okay. Gong Farmer, Local 101. Yeah, CNC's approach isn't bad, which is just the ability check with adding your level and stuff, and there's only the classes have like specific class specific skills and stuff, which that's what we're using in our long campaign here. So
going back to the actual topic of tonight's discussion, but tying it into this, it was interesting to me at the beginning of our campaign. We had a couple of guys that had only ever played 5th edition. Josh was one of those guys that was, and man, it was so hard to get him to break those 5th edition habits. Anytime he would want to do something, he would look at Roger and be like, what do I roll to do that? And Roger's like, what do you roll? What are you talking about? You're just starting the fire. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, but I have to roll, right? Yeah, man. Because it's the guys get addicted to that die. Okay, I'm going to roll for every single thing I do. Or we can play Dungeons and Dragons. You can start the fire and we can cook our dinner.
Right. You can talk it out. I've run at conventions 2 sessions of Sorcerer with Relight for 5e groups. One was a home group from that 6 of my 7 players played 5e together, signed up to play D&D on the hard level, as they actually told me.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, no, nobody says that. No, they wanted to play D&D on the hard level, and they bought in right away. They were really great about it. And then at GaryCon, the year we had a lot of snow, we had our 5e GM get, they got snowed out. I had to run a session for everybody from 5e, and I show up with, I should still have them up on me. I show up with a pile of these, and I'm like, hey, this is what you're going to play. 4 pages. And one guy walked away because he knew it wasn't for him. Everybody else gave it a shot. And it took one player the whole session to stop telling me, I rolled to detect lie. I rolled to intimidate. But you had the other players policing him. They're going, dude, no, tell him. Tell him what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, what do I roll? They're like, no, we've been doing this now for an hour. Tell him. Explain to the GM what you're doing, and you'll get an answer. So some people do get addicted to the role, right? Because it takes away their responsibility. And I think it's player skill, right? You have to have. Well, you were talking about it earlier. Like, what's more important, a good GM or good players?
Mm-hmm.
The right GM with the right rule set is very important.
Sure.
Okay. You got to find your comfort zone. For me, that's AD&D 1E, 2E, Swords and Wizardry Light. But you probably Hyperborea, I'll be overwhelmed, and DCC, I'll probably, even if I know the rules, I'm not going to get it right because I'm going to want shortcuts.
Yeah,
that's just my style. But good, strong players make you a better GM. Okay, and I'm not talking about rules lawyers because I play with a bunch of them because everybody is a game master and a game designer. So I game with rules lawyers. And that's fine. But I'm talking about strong players who think out of the box and will surprise you. And literally, like, I never expected that, but it makes way too much sense. Holy crap. Why didn't I think of that? That's what you want to have a great session.
Yeah.
At a con, at your home, whatever. It all works together as a perfect mix. And similar expectations. All right. I mean, I like to run less rules-heavy games. If my players want crunch, they're not going to be enjoying it as much. Just like if I throw my players into a very crunchy game and they wanted something like Swords and Wizardry or OSC, and they're like, what the hell is this? You got to find the right balance. Everybody's got to come to the table and have what they want.
Yeah. I got a lot of books. It's another shelf wider and a couple shelves taller. And I don't know if I should be proud of that or not. I don't know.
Dude, listen, any convention I go to now, and my wife will tell you this, I fill the trunk with things I can donate for an auction. It's like stuff that I am not going to use. I won't. Yeah. I'll look at it and go, oh man, I had great expectations for that box game that I never even got the cellophane off of. I'm donating it because it needs to be played, right? Yep. I don't need to be the RPG hoarder.
That Frosthaven that got auctioned off at Rogers Con last year was mine. I backed to Kickstarter the full thing. I couldn't wait to get it. Open it up once, looked at it, and I was like, I'm never going to get to play this. Put it back in the closet. And the last time I took it out of the closet was to bring it to the con and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living campaign is I guess what I would call my campaign that I'm running, sort of like a West March, the living campaign type of thing. Yeah.
And I agree with that statement as well. I love living campaigns.
Yeah. No, I think they're great. And I think especially for a long-term, like a long-term game, that's going to last, you need to have things that, that definitely update, and that are constantly going instead of coming back to the same small town. Like it needs to grow, and things need to change.
The world has to exist beyond just the players.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good. I believe that's towards the 5e thing, but that's roll rather than roll. They want to definitely
it's just ingrained in that system. That's
insight. I remember that trying to run one shots, basic or whatever, and you get the 5e players. Oh, I want to roll an insight. Like, well, what do you want insight for? Like, you're coming up on a hill. There's a cat. Well, I want to see what I
Yeah.
see, and like I want to know what I see. I was like, well, then just
Well, then, yeah.
tell me.
Yeah,
Tell me.
what do I
Yeah,
see?
yeah. What do I see, or what's in here, or what?
When we were playing Sunday, we were playing Dragonbane. Props to Free League. Dragonbane is so good. We were playing one of the, that Free League, or, the free RPG day game, and it was loaded with puzzles. And I like puzzles. Like Gary Gygax was terrible with his puzzles because they were so obtuse. And
Oh my God.
it was just, it was clearly meant to just be annoying and kill your character. So I don't like that. But the puzzles in this game, I loved it, and I was trying so hard not to roll. Okay, let me see what I find. I'm gonna get this puzzle. That magic cube, I did that with that help, and I was super excited about that. And then then the king walking through, man, I sat there and I'm looking at it, and everybody's waiting on me. Well, Joe was doing his thing, so I'm sitting there, and Nabil, the two of us are like, oh, I'm just not getting this. I understood what it wanted, but I just couldn't get it. And I was like, Roger, can we just do an intelligence check? And he was like, yeah, go ahead, of course. So fortunately, I made the intelligence check. So he gave me one hint. And the second he gave me that hint, I was like, no more. I got it. I've got this. Yeah. And so I was able to figure it out. That was so exciting. Whereas you put the puzzle in front of me, I'm playing 5th edition. Everybody roll your intelligence check. Oh, you got it. Okay, you solved the puzzle. Move on.
Yeah.
That's boring. Yeah. There's nothing. There's no accomplishment in that. And that's it. I was so proud of myself. As ridiculous. I mean, it's mass marketed. Hundreds of people, thousands of people have played this, and they've all figured this puzzle out. But I was so happy that I was like, yes, I have figured these puzzles out. It was. I had a great time Sunday. By the way,
it's player skill versus character skill, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I did a video on that too, because I'd rather listen. Even like Swords and Wizardry, there's thief skills, right? But when I run Swords and Wizardry Light at a convention, I want my players to tell me, "Oh, you're looking for traps? Tell me what you're looking for."
Yeah.
If you tell me what you're looking for, maybe you'll find. Well, listen, you see because the one trap was it's a first level adventure. The one trap was actually a bell that would ring, and they search it. They see a string, small string attached to the top of the door. They noticed it. Oh, I want to disarm it. Well, what do you want to do? Tell me, as opposed to the roll, because your roll.
I'm going to cut the string. I'm going to silence the bell.
Right, your rolls are 1 in 6, but your player skill is limited to you, not to. A die roll.
Yeah.
And you can tell that's what Gary was thinking, because thief skills suck until you get to name level. Why would you add your thief survivability is next to 0.
Yep.
If there are traps in a dungeon, you're supposed to find them and disarm them. Which, by the way, finding them is not disarming them. Finding them is, you made your 20% roll? Well, make it again.
Yeah.
Good luck. You now found the thing that's going to kill you. Excellent. Everybody else steps out of the room. They're waiting for you to die.
Yeah.
No. Think out of the box. I mean,
it's always funny with the rogue, the thief character, that everybody else, you mentioned, everybody leaves the room right before they disarm the trap. But if that trap's on a chest, everybody,
what you doing there, thief?
Everybody leaves the
Need
room.
Some help.
If the trap goes off, nobody's in the room.
Uh-huh.
If he disables the thing and opens
I was
the
right
chest,
behind him.
Everybody's right there.
Watching him like a hawk.
Yep.
Yeah.
But listen, I will say I've only played one session of 5e. I played Snoopy on the Peanuts as a monk, 7th level monk with my little flying doghouse. And it was at ShireCon a number of years ago, and I was given my character sheet, and it was 8 pages long. I looked at the 8 pages, and I said to the GM, and it was Scott from Rising Phoenix. I was like, Scott? He's like, yeah. Do I need to know anything beyond what's on my first page? He goes, yeah. All right, well, I won't know it. If it's because... And that was a 7th level character. I can only imagine what happens if you're 10th level. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
Try 18.
that's DCC.
Awful.
Like my beloved Weird Frontiers.
Mhm.
I love playing the Gunslinger, but if you look at the Gunslinger, like in fact, I just looked at it today.
Mhm.
The printout is 4 pages front and back. Man, all I want to do is fan my hammer and just shoot things. I don't
Mhm.
need to know any of this other stuff. But there it is.
Yeah.
And no hate to David Beatty. I
Oh, yeah.
love the game. I love Weird Frontiers.
It's
It's
awful.
just, it's DCC. There's so much going on.
And the thing with DCC is it's because of the number of charts, it's more intimidating than it needs to be.
Absolutely true.
I mean,
Yeah.
Honestly, if you took out all the spell charts, maybe you'd have 128, 160 pages. But because you have all
Yeah.
this, now Weird Frontiers, you also have history of the world and the alternate history of the world. I love playing DCC powered games. I've played at David's, I played MCC and DCC, and I played with Doug Kovacs. And you know what? I'm happy. I've run it when it was first released. I'm happy to play. I don't want to ever have to wrap my head around the rules. Just tell me what I need to do.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
happy.
I ran it. I ran a lot of DCC. I really latched onto it. That was the game that I latched onto when
Mhm.
we stopped playing 3rd edition, and then
Uh-huh.
4th edition came out, and then we all know the story. But so I'd switched to DCC, and I loved running one shots in DCC. It's just amazing. It was a blast. It was
Right.
a fun time.
Yeah.
And I tried to run a campaign on a couple occasions, and it's okay, but the magic gets
Power creep is a problem with
way
DCC.
out of control, right?
Mhm.
Well, and it's not just power creep. We had Joe the Lawyer was one of my players when I was running trying to run a DCC campaign. And Joe is huge on running spellcasters. He always wants to be a spellcaster. That's his stick. And after like 3 sessions, he's like, I can't do it because of the swing.
Mhm.
Normally you're playing basic AD&D, any of your classic, OSR games. Magic users have an idea. My minimum, my maximum, I have an idea where it swings into. DCC is this.
Yeah.
If you can't handle that, you're gonna have a problem. And
Right.
you
cast darkness, and it you might blow a candle out.
Yep.
Or you might black out the sun for 6 weeks.
Yeah. It's like, crap.
What are we doing?
Yeah. So
Roger and I were talking about that over lunch the other day. In Weird Frontiers, I played a Revelator. It's a priest, and he was really fun. But by some miracle, I was getting amazing rolls when I was playing him. And like I would cast a spell, and I would do so well that I would I'm levitating 30 feet above the battlefield where nothing can touch me, and I'm raining down holy fire upon my enemies. And I was like, what is going on?
And giving
with this?
everyone a bonus.
Oh yeah, and giving everybody like a +5 to hit and damage, and it was crazy. And and one of the first campaigns that I joined Roger in was the Un-America campaign. DCC post-apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
Love that setting, by the way.
Yeah.
I had such a good time.
Yeah.
And I played a driver, a petrol head. Because it was like Mad Max. All I wanted to do was drive my blue pickup truck, and that was all I wanted to do.
Right.
One of the other characters, or one of the other players, he was playing some sort of a wizard. And I think when we stopped playing, we were 7th level or so. But Tyler would cast his spells, and even if he rolled okay, it was giving us like a +8 to hit and damage, and we were just wiping everything out. And and for me, eventually it was like, this really isn't that fun for me. I like the setting. The game's really cool, but I don't want to sit here and watch the wizard just destroy everybody, and then the rest of us are sitting here sucking our thumbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It gets crazy.
Challenge. It can't be a pushover, and that's part of the reason why, like for me, 5e, think the system isn't bad. I think the power creep is horrid, and it's like, just where's the challenge? And I'm not saying that OSR is for everybody. I'm not saying that, but where's the challenge when you're starting out as superheroes as opposed to
Yeah.
get to that point?
Right.
It's like,
Right. And and I get like the thing about like the OSR games, and we went through it too, where you have characters, a couple bad rolls, and somebody's dead.
Right.
It's gone. And so I get that, and I get why like people give like max hit points at first level and like things like that to try and soften that blow.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
But like 5e goes like too far in the other direction, where now it's like it's impossible.
Fill your save versus death 5 times in a row, and then you could be dead.
Yes.
Maybe dead.
No kidding.
We'll see if you actually are. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Chad, thanks for coming.
Yeah, Chad, you can blame me if you're coming from my channel, but I was at puppy training. My dog's doing so well. I'm just a happy puppy owner.
So what we kind of talked in the beginning a little bit about what makes a campaign great, and the three of us anyway were pretty set on the GM and the players being probably the biggest thing. What do you think, Eric, as far as what's like the biggest thing? Is it the GM, the players, the system? What's the most important thing to make a great campaign?
I think that you first off have to have a system that everybody buys into. All right, you just can't say, "Hey, we're going to play DCC because I'm the GM. Sure. That's what I want to run," and your players are like old Joe the lawyers, and they're going to be fucking miserable. I don't know if I can curse in your channel, but I've already asked.
It's all right.
All right, we're not that child friendly, but seriously, if your players aren't going to buy in, you're going to have a miserable time, and they're going to have a miserable time.
Sure.
The GM. For a successful campaign, in my opinion, shouldn't be learning the rules as the game goes on. He should be knowledgeable of the rules. You can you can do things like, I don't really know the rules on a one shot, maybe as a side thing, but if you're going to be running a campaign, don't just go, I got this great box set and I just read the rules once and I'm ready to run it. Because unless you have a player or two that are experts, it's going to be a miserable experience for everybody because you're going to be constantly stopping.
We switched to Castles and Crusades. It's been like 9-10 months ago now at this point, but and we started pretty much from scratch. I mean, well, not from scratch. We've played like one shots and small things and things, and Jason played like a longer game than I have with it, and I was in a few sessions of things, and it was kind of like a learning experience. Not that Castles and Crusades is by any stretch like difficult to learn, if you understand any kind of OSR game, but yeah, definitely knowledge of the system going in is definitely a plus.
Yeah, and you want it to, and because we're talking about campaigns at a convention, you better not be learning that system if you're going to run it, because that's where players are going to learn a system. You want something that you can run fairly seamlessly, and if I'm running something, I'll let the players know ahead of time. Hey, listen, we're running a campaign in this setting, or hey, we're running. It's my own setting, but it's going to be episodic. So we're going to run 2 or 3 sessions, break, and then you're going to start at wherever else. Like we did back in the day, right? Well, where the setting was somewhere nebulously in the background, and you just pulled out an adventure from Dungeon Magazine. That's like DCC. Yeah. DCC is built like that because they've never really put out a real setting for it. I mean, they've been setting
right
as Kickstarter.
Different, yeah. Yeah, but nothing that's really in the core,
right.
in
It's
the core
episodic.
setting. Yeah,
It's just kind of like,
right.
yeah, there's a setting in the background. Don't worry about it. You have your adventure, and then in between adventures, you're doing something nebulous. But I think if you're going to do a campaign, you have to have a world. It can expand as your players are going through it. That is fine. That's probably the best way. I don't think
Yeah.
you want to take like the Forgotten Realms and like throw it on the table and go, here's the Forgotten Realms. These 17 books in the last year and a half have come out on it, and we'd like you're going to be tested on this in the next week and a half. Your knowledge,
Yeah.
I think that expanding as the players get more powerful, but I think as a GM, you got to worry about over prep. I mean, if you're going to be running something like we're probably more geared towards sandboxes or hex crawls, depending on how you're looking at it. But I know people that will detail everything, and then your players go off in a direction that you don't want them to, and now you're looking at them.
I've definitely made that mistake.
Yeah.
In the past. Now I'm like the other direction with it, where I'm just kind of I fill things in as they need to be, and I kind of have a general idea.
The game mastering like by your teeth, like on the edge.
Yeah.
But I think that personally for me, it's better for me as a GM for that because I don't get bored. I don't because my players are pushing me to be creative, and I don't over prep and then go, oh man, I got this great location and the players they're going to be too high in level to even go there. What am I going to do with this? I mean, I wrote it. I need to go.
You start turning all the orcs into ogres, all the ogres into giants, or you just kind of upgrade.
Yeah, so that's the danger of that. So I think, like for a successful campaign, you're at broad brushes, and you throw out a few hints and require your players at the end of a session. Where do you think if you're wrapping something up, where do you think you're going to go next week?
Yeah.
Talk out amongst yourselves before we wrap up, because I got to prep. And if they throw you a curveball and go, "Oh, we changed our mind and we didn't tell you,"
yeah, that's great advice. I just want to shout out, say hi to Greg Gillespie. He's in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Look at me.
I think definitely having having a setting that develops as you go and stuff is definitely important. To a bigger campaign. What do you think about having? This is a question for everybody, as far as the difference of having like a world that just kind of slowly develops, and you get to pick and choose like where you're going and stuff, as opposed to like running like just short, like the adventure of the week kind of thing. What do you guys prefer? I mean, I definitely like a large world that's developed.
Right.
I mean, you guys know, but especially the ones that have been that have played with me for a while. But do you think it would work, and you can have a good game that's just chained, adventures of the week together, or would that get old?
For me, it would get old. The adventure of the week, like when I go to cons, I'm sitting at a table. I'm going to do a 4-hour game. Then I'm going to a different table, do a different 4-hour game. So I don't expect like with George, George Hardy. I've played in a lot of his con games. None of them are related, and I don't expect them to be. I still have a good time because I know that I'm sitting down to play this one guy for 4 hours, and it's going to be cool. For my home games, I really want a world that it grows, because like I've said so many times, I've got that medieval simulator in my head. I want to see my character grow, and if my character is growing, the world should be growing. There's always something going on outside the city walls, so that's really important to me for long-term campaigns. I would just get bored to tears. We're meeting at the tavern at 4:00 and we're going out for 4 hours and we're coming back.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Having said that, I remember a much younger version of me that never gave a second thought to what was going on outside the gate. I sat down to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I
Right.
rolled out of town with my friends, and that was, we came back and we partied at the bar. That was our big experience. So my desire to see the world grow has been more of an evolution in my gaming style as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, and I think Eric mentioned like before, like having like 8 books with the setting, that you have to memorize everything or whatever. That's like too much. You need to like slowly feed
Right.
Right.
the players.
It's got to be
the thing.
organic. And
It feels like Warhammer feels like that to me.
yeah,
Like that's why I've never been able to like run a game of Warhammer, because anybody that would play in that game knows like
you know the lore better than you.
way too
That's
much. And
not-
I'm like,
That's not how it would work.
That was
Okay.
that was
The
second
Skaven
edition.
would not be coming from there.
Yeah.
They'd be coming from the sewers. I
Yep.
know that for a fact. I read it.
That was second edition with Forgotten Realms. When Forgotten Realms exploded in the mid to late 90s,
Yep.
there were dozens and dozens of Forgotten Realms books. So running a Forgotten Realms campaign was extremely difficult. Oh, we forgot that this avatar died, and this, Cyric stabbed the god of death in the back. Now he's, oh my God, dude, can we please just play Dungeons and
If you're
Dragons?
not going from the gray box, it's dead to me. I'm sorry,
There-
man.
I totally agree.
And even that was a lot. But
yeah,
I think that you can kind of you can start the campaign with like I don't know, 2 or 3 barely linked adventures, just so your party gets cohesive and gets an idea of that immediate area, and you throw out a little lore, but you're not giving them many choices. You go here, oh well, you got this or this. You're not giving them a lot. And once you get to like 3rd or 4th level, when they can probably survive going cross country without like huge crap, then you ask them, where do you want to go? Because then your players, you're giving them the ability to control the destiny of their adventuring and the world that you're creating. So, and you've got to establish them a little bit before that too, because until they've got 3 or 4 levels behind them, they're clay. They're not defined, right?
Sure.
If you're an OSR, it's not like a 5e character where you come into it and you're like, and I've seen this. I saw this back in the area of Tui. My character is the 4th son of Lord so and so, and it's like, dude, listen, if your character background is longer than 2 paragraphs, you don't need it, because it's not your background that matters in an old school game. It's your character's growth that matters. The heroics that you do as you're adventuring. And once you have a couple of adventures behind you and you've established a couple of levels, now your characters are getting a little reputation. And now it makes sense as to, hey, they're going from this little village to a larger town because, hey, they're moderately famous. They're like a low-level YouTuber. They might actually get invited to go somewhere and then move on from that. So I don't mind the beginning have it to be less invested in the setting as
Sure.
they're getting established. But once they've gotten to the point where they're going to want to stretch their arms, their legs, their abilities, no, that's when you got to grow the world. And that's when they kind of going, well, what's interesting? What rumors do we hear? Are there ruins? Is there any I'm already 5th level. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to get followers. I may need a stronghold. That's when the game starts moving a direction that isn't just a GM deciding, but
right.
players are investing.
Yeah.
Want to get?
I'm definitely trying to push my game in like that direction where players are trying to, build strongholds and things, and then give them the opportunities to, issue quests and things and say, oh, hey, I want to find this thing, and let's send a group out to that. And then eventually I don't have to do anything. I can just, the players can run themselves. And
yeah. AI Roger.
oh boy. Yeah.
Get behind. AI take over.
I agree. Hatless Ash, That's I used to love the Fafhrd and the Gray Mauser.
I knew
still
that's
do.
what you were going to
Still
use.
do.
I knew
Yeah.
you'd say that.
You know, I was gonna
but
say
you are
that.
correct. Yes.
I love that stuff because they would just every book they're in the tavern broke because they
Right.
spent all their money. They go out, they get a bunch of riches, they do the stuff, and at the end of the book, they end up back in the tavern spending all their money.
You know, and that's true. But those books are written for a very specific audience.
Sure.
Yeah.
To do a very
Right. Right.
Nobody, mostly nobody, wants to read a book that should be this thin and is full of adventure versus a book that is this thin with this much adventure and this much day-to-day stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why those books are written that way. So,
But there's also the implicit setting that's already written into that too.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
usually when people do quote episodic like we did when we were younger, there was no setting, right? Until you found Greyhawk, you probably didn't know of any setting. And Greyhawk, the folio had so little details. And by the way, folks, if you have the Greyhawk setting and your players want to take over the Wild Coast because it's the only place that's not inhabited, don't use grease pencils to map out their advancement because it will literally pull the ink off your map. I learned that at 17. Not a good lesson. I still have those.
Episodic Shellback. I agree as far as like the party pool, and that's kind of the way that we discussed this in another episode. It's kind of the way that I run my game, where it's similar to like a West Marches type of game. And all the players come back to town at like the end of the session so they're
Mhm.
available at different dates to go out. So it doesn't really matter who shows up like week after week. If we're missing people, we don't have to worry about, drop in and
Right.
drop out. I am too, Death Angel. I am too.
Same.
I'm just a guest on a low-level YouTuber's channel. I mean, it's like pond scum.
So yeah, someone asked if you had a YouTube channel.
Who, me?
At
Yes,
some
you.
point. Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, you. Well, you were the only one because he.
Because I talk too much.
I don't
That's
remember
all I
where it
mean.
was. There's been a lot of comments.
Yeah.
We've never had this many comments on a show.
But we've never
before,
had this
so
many viewers either. So
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah,
everyone,
that's
for
true.
coming over.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
And I know you already gave him a shout out. Greg, I am delighted to see you joining us. It really means a lot to me. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very much like the same time that Dakota joined us. I was like, oh my God, I follow this guy on Discord. His painting is amazing. I can't wait to talk to him. Turns out Dakota was super cool. So, and
Yeah.
Tinker also, thank you a million. It's
Oh,
so
come on.
so cool sitting here talking to these guys, man. I'm
This is,
Yeah.
smiling the whole time because
This
I
is what
love
we-
talking about D&D.
this is what we do. And by the way,
Yeah.
Greg Gillespie, I played in his one of his Barrowmaze adventures at North Texas this past year. And
Yeah.
listen, I played him. I never play magic users. I'm always like a cleric or the party needed magic user. I stepped up and took magic user. But we had traps, and Greg is somebody.
You bet you had traps.
We had a lot of traps. Greg is someone as a GM who it's garbage in, garbage out. If you ask garbage questions, you
Yeah.
get back garbage answers. We learned that immediately,
Yep.
and then went, okay, let's think about. And he made us better players. And
Yep.
I learned a trick or two that will make me a better GM, I think. But it was a really good experience. And there were 3 survivors at the end of at our table. I got to say, I was one. My wife Rach was another, and the chubby funster, another Greg, was the third. But we your mindset changes when you go. Because a lot of times you're at a convention, you're just like, I'm rolling. It's like, oh, wait a second. My thinking is going to make my character get to this die is going to kill me.
Yep.
At some point, this die. The less I roll, the better I am. And
I had the extreme pleasure of playing twice with Greg at RogersCon at CNY, and unfortunately, I was playing. No, that's not true. I want to say I was playing a cleric. I was playing a fighter cleric. I was playing an elf, I think.
oh, nice.
I barely survived the first game. I mean, if there was a trap, I was going to walk into
Oh,
it. It was ridiculous.
wait. You survived.
I did.
You
And yes, and then the second game, I asked him, hey, can I play the same character? And he was like, yeah, of course, go ahead. So the lesson that my character learned was look up, because there's always something above you waiting to
Oh
fall.
my God! Yeah.
And so we entered the barrel the first time, and we're taking 2 steps, and I was like, stop, everybody stop, look up. And I looked at Greg and I said, I look up, and nobody knew what the hell was going on. But Greg smiled at me. He goes, you see something. And I was like, yes, the lesson learned has worked.
Yes. There you
Yeah.
go.
Because and
Yeah.
but like you said, and this goes back to our earlier discussion. It was, I search for traps. No, okay, great. You're searching. What are you doing when you're searching for
Right.
traps?
Right.
Right.
I am going over to the corner and I'm following the corner up. I'm
Mhm.
looking above me. I'm looking down here. Okay, great. You see something.
Yeah,
Let's
see,
find
that's
out what
it.
it is. Oh man, it was
See, when you search
was
for
great.
traps, you're putting your character's life into this guy.
right.
D6
Yeah.
or centiles or whatever. But when you describe what you're doing, now it's like, oh, well.
Now he's in my hands.
Now it's in your hands. Well, I want to run my fingers lightly across. But when you run your fingers, you notice an irregularity. Now, even if you got a roll, you're probably rolling at a bonus because your character has more knowledge.
Yeah.
But let's try not to roll, because again, in the hands of a skilled DM, players don't want to roll unless they have to.
Yeah.
Trust me. And Greg is a very skilled. My wife had a great time. She and Greg, she said she was intimidated with the idea. She's like, "Oh my God, Greg Gillespie!" She's like,
He kills characters for a living.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is gonna." Oh my God! All right, I'll just go. Do I have to go? Yes, you have to go. I signed you up. And she's like, "Oh," and then she's like, 20 minutes into it, she goes, "Oh my God, this is awesome."
Such a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm having to think. And she goes, I'm really thinking. I'm puzzling the stuff out.
Yeah.
So it was really,
Right.
really fun.
Yeah.
When-
Instead of just rolling the dice and,
Yeah.
figuring out what happens from there.
The first time going back to playing with Greg, during the first game, we were not even inside the barrel yet. We were outside, and the wizard was like, I'm going to go search the backside of the barrel. And everybody was like, okay, cool. And I was like, whoa, you're going alone? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to go check it out. I'm like, dude, you're wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? So I said, I'll go with him. I'm going to try and help him just in case. Sure enough, 5 steps into the swamp, wizard gets smacked by a zombie because he wasn't thinking. The player wasn't thinking, this is really dangerous. I need to be careful. He was thinking 5e. The system will save me. I've got nothing to worry about. That's not what Dragon Slayer is, man.
The Oathar will kill you.
Absolutely.
It'll kill the TC. It won't necessarily kill the player. We hope not. But it should. I think even 5e players can play old school games and go back to 5e and be better players. Because
absolutely,
I think I want to tack onto that and say that really depends on the GM though.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the GM, if somebody walks into a 5e game and says, "Oh yeah, they're the thief," oh, I go in and I'm very careful and I got my 10-foot pole and I'm dragging it along the ground in front of me and I'm looking for things. You could have a GM that just says, "Oh, okay, make a fine traps roll," or what
Okay,
and
so
it doesn't matter.
I'm going to tell a real quick story, but I was one of those many beta testers, but not in the friends and family aspect of D&D Next. 5e as it was evolving into 5e.
Yes, he is.
And Chubby Funster put together a group of play testers because he got the invite, and he chose people that were old school 3rd edition players, 4th edition players. He wanted to get this playtest group that had different play styles. And I can't tell you, we played a number of sessions, and I'm just smiling because we still talk about the one session that ended it all. And we were in a defensive position, and I think we were arguing with goblins. We were first level characters, and we were parlaying and trying to intimidate at the same time. We had a good story, and he figured the story sounded legit. made a morale roll, and they let us pass. And the 4E player threw a fit. What did you roll? Not to the DM, to the player who was thinking out this whole plan. He goes, what do you mean? Well, what are you rolling? He goes, no, I just explained how we're, the story we're giving and and how we're going to approach it. Because if there isn't a roll, it's not D&D. What's your roll? What are you rolling? Are you rolling to intimidate? Are you rolling to coerce?
Oh,
So Greg was like, well, no, it's plausible. It fits. I rolled in their end that, no, he has to make some sort of a roll for this to actually happen. And that's when we never came back for another session. That ended that experiment because it broke the 4E player. And that told me that once we got to 4E was the point where there was a role for everything. It took power out of the hands of the player and put power into the I don't know, the mystique of the dice.
Yeah.
That's
I think
apart.
I think I have a little bit of experience with fourth. None of it was good, but as far as putting the power into the dice, I think it was 3.5 that did that.
Yeah.
There are
That was definitely the start of it.
pages and pages of skills and feats, and I thoroughly enjoy 3.5. I've got my collection next to me. I will still play it at the drop of a hat. But good Lord, I mean, it takes 3 days to make a character because there's so much you can do with it.
True. But by the way, with Joe Stone saying 4E is a video game. 4E.
That's right. It's World of Warcraft in a book. That's exactly what it is.
It was designed from the ground up to be used with the VTT.
Mhm.
It was going to be microtransactions. So essentially, it's my understanding that if you were going to buy an orc, it was like 10 cents. You need 10 orc minis. They're 10 cents a piece, even if they're identical. And that was the microtransactions. And the reason why 4E was such a massive failure is, just like the 5.5. The VTT never happened. And the VTT never happened in this case because of a murder-suicide. The two main programmers were in a romantic relationship. The relationship went south. One killed the other and then killed themselves.
Wow.
And
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. And then that's when this came to a screeching halt. Now, it didn't help that the 3D graphics they had for the dice rolling were literally cribbed from Fantasy Grounds. They were caught on that too. So WotC doesn't have a great history with VTTs.
Yeah.
So when I saw Project Sigil coming around, I was like, oh, this would be interesting. And as a side note, I got my invite to playtest Project Sigil, and then a week later, it was canceled. I couldn't get in anyway because I use a Mac, but I was like, oh, I got an invite. That's cool. It must mean it's be a dead project. And I was joking when I said that. And then they killed it a week later. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, fourth edition, because I loved 3.5 so much. When fourth came out, I was like, heck yeah, I'm all in. And I got it. And the first thing I thought was, this is World of Warcraft. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons because I want to play WoW. If I want to play WoW, I will go log into my WoW account and I will play Warcraft.
Yeah,
And
WoW with dice.
Yeah, that's what it was. And oh man, such a terrible game.
They saw the money, and again, Project Sigil, they assumed it was going to be recurring subscriptions, and instead they lost a bunch of D&D Beyond subscriptions. So we shall see how the new leadership at WotC is. I have high hopes. They're guarded hopes, but they are high hopes from what I've seen. So we shall see.
I have no faith in WotC whatsoever. I will not buy another product with their name on it, just like I won't buy Disney. They can make the movie of the year, and I'll never see it. I don't care.
It's going to take about a year to see how the leadership changes things. I do know that at Gen Con, they were on basically a rehabilitation tour of trying to mend fences, because the people that left were the people that were anti anything prior to 2015, or actually anything prior to anything that happened from Mike Merle's prior was probably on the verboten list. But
Yeah.
we shall see how if they can salvage anything.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if the CEO of WotC comes up and knocks on my door and apologizes to my face,
Mhm.
I will believe it, and then I might start looking at their stuff again. Like that apology tour, that just annoys me more than them going, "Yeah, we were wrong." Don't do this apology nonsense. Make a product that doesn't suck and doesn't cater to morons, and then we can start from there. Other than that, I am not interested.
Did you see that? Did you see that photo with like Luke Gygax?
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah. With the AD&D photo.
Yeah,
When
he
he's-
had the president of Hasbro. He
Yeah.
was at a game session.
Yeah.
President of Hasbro, president of WotC, and they weren't playing 5e. They weren't playing 5.5. They were playing classic AD&D. That to me says more about what they are trying to say than them coming out and saying it. And because it's like, well, if you're doing this just to appease your current players, you're going to be playing 5e, right? If the game 5.5, the best-selling game ever. Come on, we sold 4 billion copies. Believe us. They'd be playing that. Why are they playing classic AD&D? Because, believe it or not, I guess old grognards must have enough money that they are trying to find a way to get their hands in our pockets.
That's exactly how I feel about it. Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't get my money. And not only do I hate 5e and everything that represents, the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out, and it was just like the perfect encapsulation of everything I hate about modern gaming. But not just the movie, the poster that was painted by the great master Jeff Easley. They took his name off the poster.
Yeah,
How dare you do that? I couldn't believe it. And that's WotC. At the end of the movie, who do they give thanks to? WotC. Ooh. I'm sorry. What about Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson and all these other visionaries that created this game? Man,
listen, the
getting lightheaded over here.
The individuals that recently left Wizards of the Coast under their own power. I think it was the new president and vice president coming in, and oh man, you guys are toxic. You got to leave. They are the ones that are responsible for our wonderful disclaimer, which, by the way, just to put this in perspective, starts with D&D Next. If you go on drive-thru and you look for any of the playtest material that was released under D&D Next, it's got the disclaimer. So early 5e has the same disclaimer. It is such a poorly, and I've gotten in trouble from certain elements in the industry for being so anti-disclaimer. But that initial disclaimer, if you saw it on the weekend it came out, it was like, I don't know, written by a 12-year-old when their father said, I need an essay from you so you can get out of your room after you did something bad. And they can't. Yeah. They couldn't even spell Dungeons and Dragons right. With the initial disclaimer. It was that horrible.
Yeah.
So,
Decado, do you have anything to add to any of this? I hate the three of us
eating the popcorn.
Have been,
What's been doing?
Kind of jumping in over each other over here, and I want to give you a chance to.
You're muted.
That's
why we can't hear you. You're muted.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Or your headset died again.
We still can't hear you. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Well, that explains why he hasn't said anything.
That's why he hasn't said anything.
That's my fault. He told us last time that his headset was bad, and I was like, you got to use a headset.
No, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh man, now I feel bad because I feel like he's tried to say stuff
and we just
can't,
we didn't ignore you. We just had no idea you were talking.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Well, hopefully
I'm just
we
glad
can get
this didn't
that.
happen to him when
How's
he was
that?
still Working.
Hey!
Ah,
Yes,
yes.
there we go.
Hey, we got you.
You got a bad wire?
5x5.
Oh, this stupid box caught on the arm of my chair, I think, and flipped the switch.
Ah,
Technology.
Well-
I would have blamed my cat. You know, just
we have
Yeah, my cat right over there.
strong
Technology.
sonotype.
That's right.
absolutely.
Technology peaked with frozen pizza. My mantra.
So, I hope you didn't think that we were you were trying to say something and we were just talking through you.
No. I fall into that. Like there's so many good like opinions and things. I just end up soaking it in. I'm kind of in the same camp as Jason though. Like there's so many great games out there that I think the best thing with all the OGL nonsense was that people started to see them more. I know I did. And I was already done with.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still playing it, but like a year before the OGL, I knew I was done with 5th edition because it just sucks to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, like people love it, play it, please, but for me, it sucks, and I don't want to play it. So I just started looking at other, and now it's like, my God, like I think we're in almost like a golden age for games because there's so many good games out there. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
really have a reason to ever go back to like looking at anything WotC does because I think they make like the lowest quality product as far as like quality content. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you can go and get. I would rather spend. Obviously, it's cheaper, but like we've been playing OSE, and I have collected all the current carcass crawlers that they put out for that. It's like a zine.
Oh, it's awesome.
And those things are 1,000 times more useful than any extra
Yeah.
book I bought from WotC that just kind of ruined the game, made it worse. These are all just kind of well crafted and simple to add into your system. Whereas like with WotC, with Tasha's came, it totally changed that game. Like there was, because I was running it at the time, and you could tell when somebody was playing a character from Tasha's because they were like, extra powered superhero just showed up.
Oh,
You're like,
you're
that's
talking about
Tasha's.
you're talking about the Tasha's book from 5th edition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cauldron
of
Cauldron
see,
of everything or
I
something.
had stopped playing 5e by then, and I don't. I
yeah,
think,
no,
I think Morgan King's
sadly
book
still
was the
were.
last one that I ever saw. Okay.
Conversely, I will say I think to give them some credit, which I hate to do, but the original print of their Volo's guide is probably my favorite book that they did because it just had like a really good stuff about like beholders and giants and hags and stuff like that. I didn't care about so much the playable races it added, but the that stuff was really good. Then they got they had to spare like 5 people's feelings on Twitter and go back and reprint it and take shit out and make it a worse book. So
yeah. They've done that more than a few times. They did that with Curse of Strahd. They ended up
they did it
having
with
to
Curse of
redo
Strahd.
some
The
things.
gypsies are travelers now, or some
The
nonsense like
gypsies
that.
and the
Yeah, you can't use the word gypsy. It's bad, I guess.
yeah, and the girl in there, I forget her name. She's the gypsy. She's got a fake leg. They originally she was like ashamed of it and like hid it. And
She
then
hid
like
it.
then they changed it so that she's like proud of it or something or other. I
waves it around or whatever. It's stupid. I mean, and they gave in the original, because I have the original, the reason she hid it was because she didn't want her enemies to know that she had it, because obviously it's a weak point, right? Like if I know you got a bum knee and you and I are going to get into a fight, the first thing I'm
kicking
gonna do
that
is
stump
kick you in
out.
that knee.
That's right.
It's just what I'm going to do. So it made total sense. But again, the 5 people on Twitter that they try to appeal to, ultimately they've ruined their game because of it, my opinion.
Yeah. I think like what Death Angel says here, Tabaxi Monk and stuff, and banning all non-standard racing classes. That's part of it for me in like 5e. If I'm going to run a big campaign, I generally try and be like humanocentric or make it more advantageous to be a human and have just a couple options for other kind of races. Just
the old standard is fine. I mean, there's some extras you can throw in here and there. I've always been partial since early Dragon magazine to the half ogre. One, because I look like one and am built like one, but I've always just liked that, so I've allowed those in my game before. But I had a Tabaxi Rogue in my 5e campaign. It was played great by the player. He did a great job, but it was a frustrating class to try to DM because he was nigh
Yeah.
untouchable. Like it just great, and he did a great job playing him and took a lot of risks, but it was really hard to challenge
Yeah,
him.
I think it's okay if you have like a couple of those things, but once
Sure.
you start adding in, 20 different, races that are all better than humans and nobody wants to
Why
play a
play a
human,
human?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it that like really ruins it for me. Like I
I don't mind. I don't mind, like some people get down, especially I think in the OSR, they get down really on those like type of, and I don't mind it so much if it's inherently built into the game, but it never was with D&D. So for
right.
me, who played it since I was a little kid, you start adding on all these weirdo races. Um, not
Yeah.
the half
The
that's
ogre
important,
has.
I'll tell you that much. Um, it it just doesn't seem like the same game. Whereas I can play
Yeah.
Dragonbane and run around with mallards and wolfkin, and that's
Right.
part of the game.
But
That's
Right.
fine.
That's,
and
No
that's
problem.
we
yes.
we talked a little bit about this in person, and I know Jason and I have had this thing, and like I'm okay with Dragonbane with the duck and the wolfkin because they're like they're the playable like races that are there, and like that's
Right.
all there is, right? They're
He's not
not
half
like,
orc or
hey, here's
anything like that.
here's 20 things that you can pick from, like, one of which is a duck and a wolf. It's like, here you go, there's human, halfling, the duckling or the wolfkin, like that, and that's like their elf and dwarf class, or
Right.
like that, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't like the way 5e treated non-human races, and 3.5 did this a little bit, especially later on in the run. It takes the mystique away from these races. The tiefling. Okay, a tiefling is a demon spawn. How can this be so
Yeah.
common? What the hell's going on in this plane where demons are running amok, producing these? It's just ridiculous to me.
Well, no, come on. They reproduce themselves,
Sure. Yeah,
Tieflings,
asexually, of course. Why
yeah,
not?
well, 'cause,
They're potatoes.
we can't talk about those details because they can identify as they want.
Right.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. I understand options, all right. And listen, you want to do your own world. I go back to my college days. The DM that had winged halflings, whatever, dude. Whatever floats your boat. It's your world. That's great. But when you add too many pieces, like to anything that we had the baking a cake analogy earlier. If you add too many, like, oh, I want to add M&Ms and chocolate chips, and what about the Reese's Pieces? How about we add some cotton candy and some broken up candy canes to that mix while you're at it? Oh, and some Jolly Ranchers. You can't. You get too much into it now. It's not even recognizable anymore, and I think that's part of the issue that we have. I mean, but also remember those two. You can't have half races anymore because that shouldn't. Is there still is Tennis Half Elven still in the Dragonlance, or is he now redefined? Because
That I'm not sure.
yeah.
They would never write those books now.
Oh God, no, it can't.
No.
I
I remember going back and reading those as an adult, and I was like, wow, they really like hit some adult themes in those books. I mean, his whole backstory, is
yeah.
And there was a lot of that in there. Like they were very, in some ways, I think ahead of their time. And they would never do them now. I mean,
yeah, Tennis even in the Dragonlance 5e thing. I don't know. and by the way, I never owned more than one of the modules, but I did enjoy the novels. Okay,
I never played them. I've read the books. I still read the books. It's some of my favorite stuff, but I've never played the modules actually.
No, I that's a real railroad on steroids. I just can't do it, man.
Yeah,
this is
I'd rather read the books.
I think,
honestly.
Yeah.
The alien nature of non-human races. I think that's important to show that they're not familiar with human society and things like that. I think that helps.
Yeah,
like
but-
I've always had elves and dwarves being like,
But-
secluded off somewhere and not.
5e does away with it, right? 5e,
Right,
you
right.
know, these different
Right.
races are just different nationalities of humans, kind of sort
Now
of.
they're just basically skins. I mean, they don't,
Yeah.
That's right.
they
Yeah.
don't
You
provide
know,
really anything.
It's a 99-cent outfit on Fortnite.
Yeah. It's
That's-
like, hey,
that's all
my,
it
my,
is.
my dwarves work in armory and bake scones at the same time, wearing sandals.
I need to work on that, apparently.
Yeah. I want
Yeah.
I want my kitty cat in my armory because especially that works out really well. Have you ever seen a cat go on fire? I had a cat walk into a candle one time.
Oof.
Put her out real quickly. Learned that you can't have candles around at Christmas time on the table, and have the cat jump on the table because they're like, "I'll walk right over this."
Yeah.
No, I mean the lack of reality with D&D 2024 and just the implicit artwork is like, what are you trying to? Why are dwarves baking scones? What?
Oh, God.
Purpose smithy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the great question. But then WotC tells you exactly why they're doing that.
No,
And why- and so for me, I go back to that's fine. I can keep my wallet, or I can give it to Greg Gillespie,
Well,
or I can give it to Joe Block.
it's what
I'm
they
good.
do in
Yeah.
Seattle when you have a smithy. You bake scones with cats and people wearing sandals. That's
That's what you do.
Yeah.
what you do.
I wish I could pull up that image. That image is hilarious where they're all at the dinner table and there's like a taco and like there's all like a bunch of different foods from different, like
Yeah.
human, like, earth, cultures or whatever.
I always pull
It's like,
those
how
off
did this
Twitter
get
when I
here?
see them. I pull them off Twitter and I send them to my group chat, and I'm like, "Well, this just screams adventure, doesn't it?" And they're like,
That's
I
it.
can't wait to play.
Yeah.
"Yeah,
I'm
sign me
gonna
up for more
grab
of this."
my falcon as I go falconing on my adventure.
Yeah. Next week is adventure is to find the appropriate taco seasoning from the
Going back to the
Dragon
races
Chef
thing,
somewhere. Yeah.
I will never feel bad about my segues ever again. I'm good. The
Segway.
we were talking about how different races not necessarily should be treated, but the mystique of them and the alien nature. That's one of the reasons why I was such a huge fan of the Witcher series, both the books and the video games, not the Netflix show.
Oh, it was awful. Netflix.
Yes, it was.
It got first season started out okay.
Right, well, the first four episodes of season 1 mirror the first book almost letter for letter.
Yeah,
So
and then
that
the
was
wheel
good.
started coming off, and it's like,
But I really like
leave.
I really like the way that humans and non-humans interact in the Witcher series. And the whole story is it was these two spheres that the convergence. So they are alien to each other.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that they couldn't get along if they tried. They have no desire to get along. The elves, the Scoia'tael, gladly kill any human they find. The humans gladly kill any elves they find because they are so alien to each other. And then I really liked it. Now, I don't want that level of darkness in my normal D&D campaign, but like when Tyler, one of our players in our campaign, when he was like, I just really want to play a halfling ranger, and you didn't want him to for the longest time. You were like, I'm trying to keep this as humans.
Yeah.
But we kind of took a vote and we're like, just he'll be an oddball. He's the only non-human that we have, and I liked early on when he was in the campaign, we were all like, where's Shorty? But then as it's been 15 months. So as we got to know this halfling, we don't treat him as a half man. He's another one of the group. And we don't do a lot of play in town, so that relationship will very likely never come up in town. But I like that he is the only non-human in the party. It's and like we found an elf NPC once, And in fact, she was dead. I had to use my speaker with dead. That's the only way. That's the only way we ever even interacted with her. And so I like that. It keeps the non-humans non-human. It keeps them alien, and I think that's great. So when we find an ancient elven rune, we're like, wow, this is really foreign to us. I think that's great.
Oh, by the way, I wanted somebody had mentioned something about an OSR knitting book. I do know that Foogly, a frequenter of my channel, is working on an OSR coloring book. Okay, if you want to see some OSR personalities cartoonified in a coloring book, God help you if you wind up in this book. You might be saying he's extremely skilled. He's the one who did the 10 cars toilet sign that I have hanging on my bathroom door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Foogly is also, and by the way, Foogly just sent me a photo because he does all the Renaissance festivals, and not baking scones, but it is apparently someone working at
Let's
Smithy.
do this here.
I know. Hold on. Someone working at Smithy in bare feet. So, all right. So, I'm braver man.
That's ballsy. I'll give him that.
Ballsy. I won't even cook breakfast without wearing my shirt. Okay? Because it is dangerous and it is painful when that splatter hits you. So I can only imagine bare feet.
I'm a very low-level blacksmith, and I have ruined many shirts with spark splash trying to light my shirts on fire. Yeah. Including my beloved Pearl Jam concert shirt. Yeah, that didn't make me happy at all.
That would be like me ruining my Ramones shirt. I would.
Yeah,
there would be tears.
Yeah, I saw him on the Yield tour. Man, I went to put my shirt on one day, and there was a hole this big in it, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Not from a cigarette or a cigar. It's from. Oh.
Yep, from sparks.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Sorry, I got Billy Idol now. What's up?
There you go.
Great concert. Great concert. Okay,
anyway, I got my CNY, my CNY t-shirt.
Represent.
Going, yeah. Good times. Yeah, there you go. Get back to those drawings. Get that coloring book finished. We all want a copy now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've seen some of the pages. And, oh my god, classic. And there were people who go, "It doesn't look anything like me," and I'm thinking it looks exactly like you. But I'm not going to tell which people that's about. I'm just saying.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. So yeah, we've kind of covered a lot back and forth.
Broad spectrum of
with some of this.
Yes.
Yeah, broad spectrum. We do get off topic a bunch. But
it's just a display of our passion is all it is.
No, it is. Right. Is there so just to kind of get back on topic? So I had the 5 things written down: the GM, players, system, story, and setting. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that I missed? Is there anything else that makes a campaign great? That's that's none of those things, or if anybody wants to touch on any of those things again.
Well, I think it's that group magic, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
the intangible that you don't plan for, when you have it. Okay, when you have that group magic, and you're like, wow. I'm going to bottle this. That's when you know it's going to work well. All right. And my biggest advice is this is how we've always done it since the beginning of my online groups, like, I don't know, over a decade ago, is that, you can invite whoever you want, so long as they understand they have a 1-session trial. And if anybody gives the infamous black ball, in the voting, just one vote, they have to appeal to everybody, and everybody has to vote honestly, because you're changing group dynamics when you bring people in, and
for sure.
So that's always got to be something that people have to understand. I've been lucky over the years that we never really brought anybody in that was a walking bag of shit, but we've come close. They never showed up. It's like, oh, thank God. All right, well, they had something else to do. All right, well, invite them.
When I was in Alaska, we had a group that had been playing for 5 months or so, 5th edition. What are you gonna do? I was playing a ranger, and the DM had a buddy that he wanted to bring into the game, And we're like, yeah, we got room for one more. Why not? Sure. And he's like, but before he comes, I have to tell you guys something, and everyone has to give me the okay. He's a registered sex criminal. And the second he said that, all of us are like, nope.
Oh, boy.
I don't care what was going on. The answer is no. And so that was the end of it. But that's exactly that. Even if one of us had said a sex criminal, no, then the answer would have been no. And it was never brought up again. So great.
Joe's got a good question here. If any of you guys ever started a game you thought was going to last a while and be really fun, and then it just crashed and burned, and what was the specific thing that made that game bad? Oh
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you got, Ducato? What you got any examples, story you want to tell?
Yeah, I mean, I think when 5th edition first came out, I stopped and started at least a couple times. And I think what really for that game that really crashed and burned it was me. Like, just it wasn't I like to run the players are they're the heroes of the story. So like they do heroic shit. They fight big bad monsters and save the world and do all that stuff. And that's the type of game I gravitate. And I was trying to run a very different game than that. Like they were a little on the shady side and all this stuff. And it just didn't click with me. And because of that, I had no inspiration to really work on it. And it died. Like we just stopped playing it. But I've had systems crash my games too. Like it was like I had a 3rd edition game that we played for a long time. It started in AD&D and then went up through into 3rd edition and Pathfinder, and it just became such a nightmare to juggle mechanically to prep and stuff that it just killed it.
Yeah, I feel that it took a while for us in 3.5, like several years, of playing before it got to that point where it was like unmanageable. And I've said this before. I think somewhere around 12th level or so, somewhere between 12 and 15, I think is where 3.5 really starts to fall
15,
apart.
16th level. And
that's problematic because everything's you're rolling, everybody's got like 4 or 5 attacks. You're rolling like plus 20 something to hit. And I mean,
monster stat block is like multiple pages. I'm
huge.
Like, I can't remember all this. Like
that's why I'm drawn to like CNC, because it's like, oh, what do you need? Oh, I need the monster hit dice. Like that's it. That's all you need.
All I really need.
Yeah.
You can make up stuff on the fly so easy with that and other OSR games. But
yeah,
that's what killed it for me, was either not the style of game that I'm used to running, that I like to run, which then kills my interest. So that's not going to get the game to progress, or mechanically it just becomes such a pain for me to run that I'm just not going to do it.
See, for me, I had great plans. I was running Lost City of Baracus from Frog God, Sword and Wizardry. Campaign kicked off really well, and I had a 2-part session, which we had to end as half the party was either dead or dying, fighting a dragon. They were all like 5th level, unbalanced. They should have avoided it. Came back a week later, and a miracle of miracles, it was good player rolls. They drove the dragon off. 6 players, two survivors. They fought off the dragon. It fled. They raided the treasure, and then everybody's like, "Well, we're not going to ever top that." And the 4 players that lost their PCs like, "Well, I'm not invested in it anymore because I'm dead." And it's like, all right, well, I guess we're fuck. All right, like we're done. I mean, and they're right. You're not going to top that. At 5th level, you pushed off. It wasn't an old dragon, but still, you drove off a young dragon, and you had 2 survive. Yeah, all right. Then climaxed early. It's like 18-year-old sex. I mean, you're done, and you're like, what happened? And that was that case. So,
do you think that Swords and Wizardry is a good system to run like a long-term campaign in?
If you're gonna run Swords of Wizardry for a long-term campaign, use the complete rules because you get all the classes that will allow you to. And then I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna want to, because we're all tinkerers, you're gonna want a house rule. You're gonna want to steal something
Sure.
from Dragon Slayer because Dragon Slayer has some pretty nifty rules. Or you're gonna want to steal something from Hyperborea, which you can do and you won't break the rules. For me and how I tend to run campaigns, my players and I generally run out of steam around 7th or 8th level because
Mhm.
4th level spells are about as powerful as we want before before the wheels fall off the cart and it gets wonky. I mean, every session kind of turns into a DCC session. Either it goes
Sure.
horribly well for the players or it goes horribly horrible for the players. It's one extreme or the other. It's never like a well balanced because 5th level spells get swingy. So when I expanded Swords and Wizardry Light with James Bond, we expanded it to 7th level. That was actually Bill Webb telling us you can't stop at 6th. And we're like, well, 3rd level spells. You need 4th level spells. But that to me is the point where if you go beyond that, the campaign has to change, right? You gotta change to domain play, or
Right.
you're only going out for Earth. You're the Avengers now. You're only going out when you're saving the universe.
Right.
So there's that change. So I'm happy if my campaign makes it to 6th, 7th level. I'm happy. Joe the Lawyer's 2E campaign, I hit 8th level as a gnome priest, and honestly, in all my years of gaming, that's the highest I've ever legitimately gotten a character in a campaign because I was always the DM anyway. But a legitimate character to 8th level, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got here. And I'm happy with it. But I don't think I would have been happy getting to 9th level spell because I can raise dead. Well, now it's just silly. Right? Now
Yeah.
you're taking away. Oh, well, sure, I'll take the risk. Eric can always just raise me.
Yeah.
Now that's so that's for me. That's where campaigns break.
Yeah.
Up. I don't like
Right. And I think that's where, like in my game, we've got some characters that are like 9th level, and I'm trying to get them to like, move more into like a domain play or more like, like get the character to retire. And I mean, there's things that like they got to finish up currently and things like that are out there that, I'm not going to force them into retirement. But like if anybody gets closer to like 12th level or something, that's where I'm going to really start pushing, to retire or to, not to retire, but just to have them, hey, here's the keep, and have them, give out quests and stuff.
And that's the thing, right? Like go back to AD&D name level. When you got all your followers, you built your stronghold, you built your keep.
9th level and stuff, yeah.
Why would if your character is now responsible for this fiefdom, why are they going out there risking their lives to kill dragons or any of that?
Right.
Why? They can pay people to do it, and I'm sure that's what Gary intended. Was like, you know what, the players, but players are of different minds, especially when I was younger. I'm not saying you don't have like a 17th level paladin. I'm just saying I don't feel in my older days that it was legitimately earned.
Sure.
As we play them now.
And yeah, Knucklebones. Okay, how do you get powerful enough to kill a dragon? And that's, and I think part of the key of like killing a dragon is with numbers as well as
numbers.
And they're supposed to be difficult. They're supposed to be difficult.
And
you shouldn't have a party of 10, of 5 people that are, just able to go out and just kill a dragon.
What size dragon is it? Again, with it was like a young dragon. I think it only had like 40 hit points, and they didn't kill it. They drove it off. Because dragons are not stupid beasts. They're not going to.
Self-preservation is a very real thing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's like that the Elmore painting. We've talked about a couple times on the show, but
the Dragon Slayers.
the Dragon
Or
Slayers, the
Dragon
Elmore
Hunters. I
painting.
think it's called Dragon Hunters. I'm not sure. Though.
Yeah, and there's like 4 of them, and they've got this dragon that's like
Slightly larger than a gecko.
Yeah.
yeah, like, it's like
But they're
8
all
feet
they're all
long.
like
We're all
Look
like,
at
yeah,
us.
we killed it.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah. So yeah, definitely. How do you kill a dragon? A well-placed arrow to the heart. Isn't that
Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum.
Name your character Bard
um,
and have him be really good with a bow.
Give him a black arrow.
there you go.
There you go.
Black arrow. Yep.
Yeah, how do you kill a dragon? So I on that, and this is like off topic, right? But like I like how they did that in the Lord of the Rings movies there, where they made it a thing. Like, you gotta find this thing and you gotta, hit this dragon in the right spot and like do this thing. And it was like, no, the thing doesn't have any stats. It doesn't have any hit points. This is the only way to do it. You gotta,
You have to make
you-
this
you-
basically a called shot,
yeah.
critical hit.
That's like the only way to bring the thing down. And I like that. And so when you start like ambush with, Grand Battery of Artillery and stuff like that can help it. That helps the
Yeah.
situation. And that's kind of how you got to go at it. Like you need an army, I think, to do it. Because when 5 characters can just take down like this huge dragon, I think it takes away from,
Cheapens it.
yeah, right. Excuse me.
No, we're used to.
Yeah, Paul Burns, you kill a dragon with plot. That's how you do it. That's how you do
The
it.
best way.
That's how Disney keeps characters alive.
There you go.
It's true.
There you go.
For
Um,
sure.
But that's like, and we've talked about that before with characters getting high enough level where they're going after gods and stuff. And I thought it was a big mistake to start putting stats for gods in the books and things like that, because people just want to go after them. And
Well, it says here Thor only has 96 hit points. I've got 140.
yeah,
But I can
yeah.
take him.
there you go.
Mhm.
5e
Yes,
made it
it
easier
did.
to kill dragons, definitely.
Yes,
And
it did.
I think
They're just bags
some
of
of
hit
that
points.
some of that too, though, is I don't
Poor
know if I
DMing.
blame 5th edition for this or whatever, but yeah, poor DMing,
Mhm.
where you've got an influx of people coming in to play the game, and they just see these stats and like what the thing can do, and they're not thinking like, oh, a dragon's going to be in the air, like doing these kind of swoop in, dragon breath, fly away, come back. Like, so they just put the dragon on the ground in a cave in front of the group, and the group just wails on it, until it's dead. So yeah, a lot of that's the GM, I think, into doing that.
Mhm.
That's definitely one way to do it.
It's a proven technique right there.
Solid.
So yeah. When Stan Lee was asked what character would win a fight, whoever the writer said would win. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So yeah, and and in my game, I'm on the dragon thing. I know in my game, there's a couple dragons that are out there that the party can't really deal with. And they're not really like a huge threat. I mean, they're a threat, but they're not like actively attacking the town or people or whatever, because there's no one that is really high enough level to challenge the dragon, so so the one dragon that I have collects a toll via some kobolds when people pass by, and that's kind of how that goes. And the players they have yet to say, hey, maybe we should go kill the dragon because he's got all the riches and stuff, because it's a dragon, and they're
He's
9th
really
level.
big and he's flying around and he's red. So
Yeah.
common sense has prevailed thus far.
Yeah, same in my game. They found one of the groups found a red dragon. I think he's mature in CNC stats. He's a mature dragon, and they ran away from it. And there has been no talk of like, hey, let's go fight that dragon, because it's not
Yeah.
going to shape out.
Yeah,
very
and
well
I
for
think
them.
it's similar with this, where like the dragon's there, and it's like, okay, he's not really bothering us.
Yeah,
He's not like
exactly.
an active threat. Let's not, get all killed trying to, go after this thing. But I mean, until they look at the treasure chart for that dragon, and then
And they're like, oh,
then I
wait a
think
minute.
I'll have some players that are going to try and scheme their way into into that. So, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, we've been going quite a while here. Is there anything anybody else wants to add as far as making a game great? What makes anything else that makes a game great? A campaign, a one shot, any specifics?
no, I think you'll find it when you find it.
Yeah. You mentioned
I'd say-
Tenkar about finding the group, finding like the right group and the
Right.
perfect group, and like what happens when you have like one person that doesn't fit that group? Do you really like? I mean, you mentioned the marbles, like marbles in a bag.
Keep them out,
thing.
right? But if they're already in, listen, if you're back in high school, or an adult, you disband the group, and then like 2 weeks later, you bring the group back together with that one player. I'm not saying I've done that, but I've seen that happen. It's like it's a
Yeah.
new group. Yeah, we're just done. Yeah, we're all calling it quits, right? Yeah, I got child care issues, and then like 2 weeks later, it was like, oh, I could play again. I could play. I'm not saying that's a great solution. Nobody wants to hear that they are the one, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a. I could probably do a whole episode of Gamers Health on how to handle it, and I'll never have the right answer.
Yeah. We ran into that situation recently, where we had a problem player that had gotten worse over time, and I don't know. I don't know if he was off his meds or I don't know. It just was, problematic, and when I talked to him, and it was, it was an issue, and it was kind of like a hard situation,
Mhm.
But yeah, he's gone now, and we handled it that way. But and new players coming on, you mentioned like giving people like a one.
Yeah, and you let them know. Listen, it's
Yeah.
we're going to give you a session tryout. If letting you
Yeah.
know right now, I play with a bunch of assholes, and they don't like anybody. That's how you cut it up. Like, I play with a bunch of assholes. They don't like anybody, so don't have high expectations.
Yeah, and that's what we've done. Is we've done like the last time somebody new showed up, I ran a one shot like in the game world with different characters somewhere else, and then we kind of all talked about it afterwards and was like, okay, do we like this guy? Do we think do we think he's going to work out? And it ended up working out. Great.
And again, going to the black ball analogy that you used earlier, if one of us had said, "No way," then okay, keep
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
Right.
Shellback says gold for XP and strict timekeeping, and I do
Both of those.
variations on both of those. Yeah, which is fantastic. I love it. But yeah, what's depends on how bad the match is. Integrated players, it was odd man out, took time, is now well liked and welcome. Yeah, no, and that definitely can happen. You can definitely have somebody that comes around, and goes in the right direction.
You might be
Yeah,
able to mold them
it
into
took us over a
the
year
player you want.
to kick out the problem player. I mean, good
Yeah.
Lord, we
Right.
gave that guy some chances.
But
Yeah, dice fudging is I've had players like do
Oh.
that where they roll the die like in front of them with their other hand like covering the die, and they roll it, and then they pick it up
But
and they
because
look
look,
at it and they're like,
20.
oh, 19. Yeah, I've seen that, and it's like, come on, man. What are you doing?
I forgive you if you're 13, but when you're 33, I don't forgive you.
That's right.
Yeah. Good stuff. So I just want to give a quick shout out. I don't have the link handy, The Kickstarter for Arduin, and oh boy, I'm gonna have to look it up now. It's
Tonisberg and
Barrows. No,
I want to say Bunnies and Barrows, but it isn't Bunnies.
no,
and Barrows.
that's not it.
It's not that one.
But listen, it's under Emperor's Choice. Search Emperor's Choice on Kickstarter.
2 weeks left to go.
Yeah,
Love those guys.
Oh,
Those guys are absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
And they were at CNY. They're planning on coming back. Tenkar was at CNY. He's planning on coming back. Greg is planning on coming back. It's going to be fantastic. Barrows and
Ducato is coming back.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Oh, but by the way, here I'm gonna slip a little announcement in. Just found this out yesterday. Well, we finalized it yesterday. Myself, Joe the Lawyer, and Joe Block are going to be doing a twice a month live stream on Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
Nice. I saw you guys. Was that?
Yeah, we did that little thing on Joe's channel, and we all hit it. We're like, wow, it worked out really well. We were like, yeah. And I we're talking. It's like, we should do this more often. And all of a sudden, Sunday night special, spelled with a K, is going to be the twice a month live stream from the three of us.
Cool.
I think it's going to be really good because we have a pretty good. That's like this group. You have a good rapport. Everybody kind of feeds off each other pretty well. We have a good rapport. We feed off each other pretty well, and we are three opinionated. I'll just leave the blank out there for you. You can fill it in yourself. I've cursed enough for his live stream.
What time on Sundays?
9 p.m. because apparently they have to throw my. I tried to use ChatGPT to figure get my schedule going, and ChatGPT is like 8 p.m. I'm like, no. I know I do 4 of the live streams during the week. This one's got to be 9. I had to explain to it that you've already figured me out, and now you're wrong. So
I run my game from 4 to 8 on Sundays. So that's so we'll have to jump on and take a look at that.
We finish up at 8.
Good. Yeah. We finish up at 8. It's fine.
Guys play in person?
Good. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't play online.
No, I don't
can't.
Like either.
I
was just curious. I didn't know how close. I knew you guys obviously in the same state, but I didn't know.
I'm the
New
traveler.
Pretty big state. Just giving you a little warning. So
I drive an hour to play at Rogers. So,
I can't drive 5.5 to play at Rogers. It won't happen.
Well, once Roger hits 1 million subscribers and starts making real money off this,
we'll
fly you out here every Sunday. Won't be a problem.
I'll get the helicopter landing.
Yeah.
You get the helipad built.
But we'll check that out. That'll be
Paul. It's going to be a discussion. It's going to be like a. If you enjoyed the stuff, I don't know, 20 years ago, point counterpoint, like the early Sunday morning, like you're wrong. Expect a lot of your wrongs, okay? Just
crossfire.
You're wrong, and I'm right. No, it should be fun.
Hey, Mike, welcome to the channel. I don't know whose channel you came in on, but
well, welcome anyway.
So yeah, and if any of my subscribers aren't subscribed already to Ducato or Tenkar's channel, please join them. I know it's probably the other way around. Tenkar's probably he's the big YouTuber here.
Yeah.
I'm a small fish in a small pond. It's an illusion.
Well, in this small pond though, you're the big fish.
I get to spend 3 hours talking about Dungeons and Dragons, man.
There you go.
I couldn't be happier about this.
Yeah.
That's better than
and I hope you had a good time. Hopefully we can get you back on if you're willing, obviously. We got Central New York RPG Con coming up in June.
Do it.
Hopefully everybody can sign up and get to that. We had an absolute blast last year, and we're planning on having an absolute blast again this year. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But what any closing thoughts or anything? I don't want to. I know I jump in and talk over people.
No,
So,
no.
Jason,
Like
Ducato.
Roger said,
I'm good.
if you're enjoying this live stream, you should be subscribed to at least 3 channels. Just saying, so you don't miss notifications. Especially Ducato and Game Master Roger, because they're going to be here every week. I will drop in as my schedule allows. I'm lucky. My wife is like, yeah, whatever. I'll play with the dog for the next couple of hours. You do what you got to do.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Greg Gillespie's IFL?
Yeah, my son ran it.
Yeah.
Not
I'm
the whole
mad.
thing, but he ran about, I think, 8 sessions, and then we'll get back to it when his
Wow.
turn to.
And those
run
are on your
Thursday
those are
night.
on your channel?
The recap. They're not live plays; they're just recaps.
Oh, I'll go check them out. Yeah, that's actually my favorite Gillespie dungeon is IFL. Roger doesn't like
Yes.
it because it's elves or because it flies or whatever reason you don't like it. But I know you told me that
It was fun.
it wasn't for you, and I was like, oh, this is great. Excellent.
I bought that book at CNY from Greg, and
Yeah.
just because I'm a completionist,
Yep.
and I already had Barrow Maze and Dwaro Deep, and I brought it home, and he snatched it and just started reading it. He's like, I want to run this. I'm like, well, run it. 'cause
Awesome.
I probably won't
All
get
right.
a chance. So,
Yep.
so he did,
Cool.
and we used Dragon Slayer and played Highfell. It was a lot of fun, and we'll get back to it. Like he plans to go back to it, so it's his
Cool.
turn.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So check that stuff out. Check out the other channels, and we will see you guys next week on the next one. Don't know, to be determined what the discussion is going to be about, but we're guaranteed to go off topic anyway. So
It's a hex crawl, right?
yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Come on.
We'll roll randomly.
What will we find?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
So
I'm gonna have
thanks.
to come back to that one.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming, and
everyone.
we'll talk to you guys soon.
Be good.
Thank you.